the outro. Oh, really? All right, here we go. One of the greatest outros. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. This is our 50th episode. Welcome. I am your host today, Luke, and our episode title is Let's Go for the Record. We're recording on 10/5/2018, Season 5, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones on HBO, which is called High Sparrow. Listen to Drinks and Knows podcast on Radio Public. It's free, easy to use, and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show or other shows by us on Radio Public with their Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. As always, I am joined in studio by Glenn of House Dog.
Hi.
We are not, as always, joined by Sly of House McLean via satellite.
Via microwave.
We are also not via microwaves.
What do you got in there?
We are also joined, not as usual, by Abby Gertie of House Condensation here in studio.
Whoop.
All right. We have two other special guests with us today. We have Melissa, co-host of the podcast that must not be named.
Hello.
And everyone's favorite beer hog. You may remember him from trivia.
Party on,
The
man.
beer hog.
All right. What's everyone drinking?
Wine.
All sorts of stuff around here. I see some Budweiser. I see some...
I've got my Budweiser and my Cancun Cozy.
I have Gumdrop Pink Moscato.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
Yes. That's because it's a cute bottle.
I have Jack and Coke because it's been a long day.
Glennie?
I said
my
wine.
Shock Top Citrus Fun Pack still.
Right.
Boxed wine.
From the grocery stores.
I've got OJ. Vodka. I don't know. We'll leave it questionable. All right. So this show and all of our shows at thepodcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Also, welcoming our newest patron to the Imaginary Legion, Jason, as of today.
Golf clap.
I feel like we need some kind of like horn that goes off. I need to get the brown note in the middle of that. That'd be a good welcome to Legion sound.
Aw.
But welcome, Jason. Appreciate your support. Really does help us go and keep doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of the show, tell us a little bit about your current projects and where people can learn more about what you're up to. Melissa, that's you this time.
Oh, that's me. Okay, well, I am one of the co-hosts with Luke of the podcast that must not be named, a Harry Potter reread chapter by chapter by a math teacher, and Luke, who does things too, like engineering. I also co-host the podcast that floats down here, where we reread Stephen King's It, and it is myself and Luke and Benji. And for all of my math teacher nerds out there, you can find me at the NCTM Regional Conference in Kansas City the first weekend of November, and the NCTM Regional Conference in Seattle the first weekend of December, where I will be presenting on starting up your own professional development math camp for teachers.
So if you are legitimately a total nerd, you might see her there.
Literally. The back of me is even in the promotional, pamphlets that are being handed out.
I wish the back of me was in promotional
It's
pamphlets.
fantastic. It's my really old purple backpack.
Best sides of you anyways, so.
Thanks. You're welcome. Love you.
Beer Hog, what projects are you up to?
Well, I wear Hawaiian shirts all the time. Love drinking beer. Love hanging out and having a good time with all my buddies.
Ricky from the chat says that you might slightly resemble Hank Williams Jr. over there.
First time I ever got that, but I appreciate it.
But
First time for everything.
As always,
So-
chat, let us know if our audio levels are off it or anything, because you're our only resource on that. Appreciate it.
But I do want to call something out at trivia earlier tonight. I did say we would have the whole family here. Unfortunately, found out that Mr. Narrow C.
Mr. Narrow C himself. Fail.
We'll take Glenn. Glenn is a great
We
roommate.
got the surrogate brother of Glenn.
I just got a message from a friend of mine who is listening to the chat online, but is not in the chat. She's listening to us live, who said Matthew looks like Kid Rock.
Yeah,
Who is,
definitely heard that one
Hank
before.
Williams Jr.'s
First time
son,
ever
so
heard
it's
that.
fine.
Not at all.
Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy
It
theories.
really is.
All right, we ready to get moving on this episode here?
Sure.
No, because we have to talk about what happened last episode.
Oh, Jesus.
Abby, what happened last episode?
Fill me
Arya
in.
meets some bozos and some cranky old men, or a cranky old man. Sansa gives Brienne a hard no. Bronn gets voluntold to help Jaime on a rescue mission, and
Voluntold's the best word ever.
Kevin Lannister gives a big F you to Cersei. Ilaria is frustrated by Duran for not being hungry like the wolf. Dario 2.0 gives Grey Worm a lesson. Gilly knows S. John is the 999th commander on the wall. And Danny delivers some hard justice.
Justice.
So now it's like you've actually watched it.
I know.
You've been
He
there.
knows.
Well, or
the ins
at least
and
he
the
watched
outs.
last episode.
All right, so again, this is what we're going to talk about today, episode 3 of season 5. This was 60 minutes long. It aired on April 26th. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, April 26th of 2015. It was directed by Mark Mylod. I believe this is his first. I think so.
I don't know.
Didn't go back and check, but it doesn't sound like we've said that name on air before.
I will concur with that. It was.
Okay, all right. And this was written by Glenn's best friends in the world, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
How are they my best friends?
I don't know.
That's lucky of you.
Instead, why don't you tell us about the episode description?
Well, they're two of my best friends. We go way
They're
back.
the two best friends that anyone could have.
All right. In Bravos, Arya sees many-faced God. In King's Landing, Queen Marjorie enjoys her new husband. Tyrion and Varys walk the long bridge of Volantis.
All right. I think all of those things
How
happened.
long was that bridge?
It's very long, actually.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see it in pictures later.
Great. Can't wait.
All right. Who's ready for Quill and Tankard pub trivia?
Woohoo!
All right, Abby, I'm going to request that you don't look at my screen over here much.
At all. I'm going to try to put it in the right column tonight, though.
All right. So, in the credits,
Well, shit.
after Peter Dinklage, name 3 of the 4 next actors named. Character or actor. I'll accept either, but you can't double up.
Oh, come on, autocorrect.
That's as much as you can say before you get actually sued by them. I don't know. I like saying stuff that I don't think is true.
We need 3 names.
You need 3.
Oh, no. Shit, my Zoom and... Damn it.
Thumbs up if you're ready. I'm not rushing you. I'm just letting you know that's how we tell each other when we're ready.
That's not a thumb.
Big Brother is always there to call you out. Literally.
And there were a lot of really good trivia questions after I picked that. I was like, man, going through the episode, I was like, I could have picked a whole bunch of things that probably people would have gotten.
Then probably you should have done that.
This is also a...
The assholes game of trivia.
Oh,
Not you.
Come
Not
on.
you. Just all of us in
This
general.
is a fair question.
Oh, it's fair. I'm not saying it's not. We just like to make them difficult. So
I'm down with difficult.
we get the points.
Again, you guys are basically on a team.
So basically, between us, we have to get 3 of the.
No.
We have like 8 guesses to get 3 people
Yeah,
right.
no, technically, you each
Yeah.
would need to get 3 out of 4.
Okay.
Right.
3 of the 4?
3 out of the next 4. So
Which means
Peter
if I list
Dinklage
4 names
is-
and 3 of them are right, then that counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
You have
Whatever.
4 chances.
Excellent.
You need to get 3 of basically 2 through 5 correct.
Okay, good. Sorry.
Thumbs up. Glenny, thumbs up.
Sure.
All right, Matthew.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
All right, everyone hit enter.
Um,
Oh, I gotta play the music still. All right.
I can get down on this music.
Glenny says Cersei, Kit Harington, and Arya. Ben says Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
left him.
Lena Headey, Kit Harington. Abby says Jaime, Cersei, Roose, Arya. Melissa says Sansa, Varys, Jon Snow, and Roose. A lot of 2 out of 4 correct answers. The answers are Lena Headey, Cersei, Kit Harington, Aidan Gillen, Microfinger, and Natalie Dormer.
Damn.
Aw.
I had Microfinger written down.
Man.
Did you?
Yeah, but then, I don't know. I was going to say Jamie, but he's not in the episode. No spoilers, but
Right.
All right.
the
Did
credits.
you guys even watch this episode?
I mean,
I don't
did
watch the
last
credits.
5 minutes, that's for sure. Let everybody know that
What are the
before we
names of
started.
the people?
so yeah, for that, either actors or characters would have been acceptable because I know not everyone knows all of the actor names. And so going off character would have been totally acceptable.
Right.
That was a decent question.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Thanks. 3 points for me on the year of the season. Let's move right into our episode. So we start with our opening credits where we see the Dink, Peter Dinklage, as our top billed actor, and then the next 4 that I listed. We see King's Landing, Moat Cailin, Winterfell, The Wall, Bravos, and Meereen. Nothing else really new, aside from some of the orders of characters. Nikolai wasn't in there, obviously, because he wasn't in the episode. Spoilers. But our first scene takes us to Bravos, where we see Arya, Jaqen, and Waif. Arya wants to learn and is reminded of the one true God. Abby, kick us off here.
Well, I'm a little confused about what's going on. Jaqen was supposed to be like our man. We got to Jaqen, we're saved, and this shit's crazy. She's sweeping floors.
Sweeping floors.
So he's supposed to be the man, you're saying?
Well,
And
like,
he's
I
not the
just
man.
felt like we got the coin, and this was my golden ticket. We finally used the golden ticket.
ticket. That's
And-
as far as we can go on that.
So Jaqen's the Willy Wonka.
Sure.
And she's the Oompa Loompa.
Hey, that works.
You
Except
lose.
there's nothing sweet in that
You
house.
get nothing.
No.
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
But yeah, just sorry about that bump. This is highly confusing about just what's going on in general, what this place is. I think I'm supposed to feel that way. So
2 pairs of grandparents sleeping in the same bed with their legs.
All, intermingled, right?
You know how important it Charlie going to the factory because only one grandparent gets up.
So, on that note, Glenn, tell us what you thought about this scene.
Yeah. So this music that they have playing is kind of creepy, but I think it's a good creepy. Like, it's meant to be creepy and it's cool.
A well done creepy.
Right. Also, faceless men, they must pay the dues before moving up the corporate ladder. Nothing is handed to you.
Doesn't he hand him the bowl?
Nothing is handed to you.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a figure of speech.
All right, Benj, what do you got here?
So Arya really is just a little kid. We always kind of keep forgetting that of all the crap she's been through and how fast she's had to, grow up. But at this point, you can see she's super impatient of, I came all the way here to learn, to do this and to do that. And all you have me doing is sweeping floors. Yeah, Mr. Miyagi said, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off.
Paint
You
the
gotta
fence.
take the basics first before you take, the advanced course. Sorry. So it's
You need
just
a
this-
montage.
Never mind.
Beat about town.
I feel a little defensive of Benji's point only because I feel like Arya here. Like she's frustrated. Like we got here, I've done all this stuff.
And you feel like she does.
Yeah, I feel like personally, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like one more, just let the girl have a pass. Like,
And I agree with you.
I agree with Benji though.
Yes.
I get that that's how it has to be, but it's still so fucking frustrating. Like,
but I mean, how long has that weirdo blonde chick been there?
who cares? Who's she?
But I'm saying in her eyes,
one.
like, well, aren't they all?
I want to meet this weirdo blonde chick.
Let's see, there's probably a picture of her.
Nothing is handed to you.
That right that right there is the weird blonde. We'll see more of her later.
No, I think the big point here that I think everyone's trying to make is she doesn't really see it as like moving up the ladder. I think she just thinks it's a bunch of chores that she's doing.
Right.
So I
And
think that's
she
why she's
just
pissed off.
worked her ass off getting here. I mean, she's survived some shit, in all honesty. I mean, people think she's dead
Right.
all
Not
over
being let
Westeros. And
Throwing her coin in the river.
and then she got here
And got an entry level job.
Well,
right. And she thought the coin from Jaqen would be like, okay, well, like, start training. I mean, here's your ticket not to just show
I'm
up.
in with the in crowd.
Right.
You know.
I go where the in crowd
Yeah.
goes.
On
My-
Wednesdays, we wear pink. think.
My other feeling towards this too is I understand, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead. I literally watched this. By watching, I meant listening to it while the episode played while I was driving. So sorry if I'm ahead. But some of the frustration that I feel like she has is you get somewhere, you get this job or something. There's no direction. Like,
No.
One direction.
There's not even a training video?
But you don't even know what the company is that you just got the job
Yeah, like
for.
you don't even know what company you're working for. You're just in a house.
You met a guy that worked there,
Yeah,
and you
you're
got a
like, he's
resume
cool.
turned in.
And then
And he
you got the
handed you a
card.
in,
You're
and
in
they
charge.
hired you, and there's no direction. You don't know what you're doing or what you're doing it for. So there's just levels of.
What would you say you do here?
Well, Bob.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. It's my day off.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. Melissa and my notes are kind of similar, so I'm going to let you kick it off here.
Okay, so the scene started off with pictures of all the different god statues. Personally, I really liked the weeping statue.
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of cool, and I'd like that in my garden. But so
You
is
have
the
a garden?
No, I'm saying if I had a garden.
Okay, I got you.
I don't own a garden. I would kill it. But
Yeah, that's what I was
right.
going for.
But is the one god Hades? Because the only thing I noticed is that they help this guy out by giving him something to drink and he dies.
For the many-faced god.
Sure,
Is-
yes.
well, you're
So
yeah.
I'm saying the god that they're actually serving here, it's Hades, right? Because
Some punch.
they kill people.
Essentially, yes. So the many-faced god, and as you pretty much pointed out, there's a whole bunch of different deities from different parts of this
Mhm.
world showing up here. And yeah, I mean, so if we quickly flip through the ones that are here, there is the Stranger of the Seven, which is... Oh, we don't have a picture of that one.
Yeah, that one.
Nope,
Isn't-
nope, it's not. It's the one where his face is turned away because you don't never see his face.
Okay. Yeah.
I
So
thought
Stranger
her
of the
was
Seven,
weirded.
the Weirwood face, which is that one.
Okay.
So old gods.
Mhm.
We have the face of the drowned god, Weirwood or driftwood carving.
What is dead may never die.
the
Exactly.
burning heart.
We have the fiery heart of the Lord of Light, which is right there. We also have the black goat of Kohor here in the background.
Nice.
I'm even thoroughly more confused as we've gone through this.
Well,
scene.
This is my point. There are so many gods.
She's basically
Yeah.
Melissa's exactly right. I just wanted to point out the ones that are showing up here. There's in this scene we also see the Lion of Night, which is from Yi, which is way
E.T.
far east. And
Is it over a really
It's
big
not
sea?
even on that map. No, it's just further east on that map.
Elliot.
And the Weeping Woman of Lice, or at least
Lice.
That's the statue I
the
She
like.
has lice.
I'd be weeping too if I had lice.
And so all of these, in some way, somewhat represent death in their own religions. I mean, the Weirwoods, it's kind of a life and death rebirth type god, so that makes sense. The Stranger, obviously, we know that's directly death. And so Lord of Light
Yep.
loves sacrificing people. So
we know.
you're basically... Well, we've seen
The Stranger?
we know that they don't talk about the Stranger.
Okay.
We've learned from that, right? Didn't Sam talk about it, or have we not talked much about it? We've talked. I thought so.
Is it like Fight Club?
Because the Hound even says in
We
Made
don't
the
talk
Stranger
about that.
miraculous in her sleep.
I must have been sick from
During-
school that day, guys. Sorry.
During
Or-
the
It's
Hound.
okay. It's fine.
Yeah. So that's
Abby,
that's,
just drink.
Yeah, that's what you're here for. You're here to not know. And so yeah, basically all of these are somewhat representative of death, like Hades is. So yes, you're basically right. I just really liked that they included this because it's how it's described in the books, and I was pretty pleased with the way they looked. Any other thoughts on this opening scene here in Bravos? All right,
No.
then we will go to the other scene here in Bravos, where we have Arya, Jaqen, Waif. A game of faces is played. Arya leaves most of herself in the canal. A body is cleaned. So if we go to this next series of pictures, I'm going to let Glenn of House Dog kick us off.
Sure. So this is kind of a similar theme to the last scene. But Jaqen kind of like Arya's just kind of she's ready to like move up to take the next step. And then like kind of, this waif girl comes in and Jaqen comes in and it like just totally knocks her down a peg. And she's like, "No, I'm ready. Like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play." And he's like, No. Like, you're Arya Stark. You have her sword. You have her clothes, the stolen silver and all that, stuff. Like, how can you be ready for this? But you're still Arya Stark. You're not no one.
But I could be
So-
center
Y'all ready for
field.
this?
then basically I think the cleaning of the body is just kind of a rite of passage, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And it's like I think it's like another part where she doesn't realize it's another step to take, but it like kind of is.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely another move to make.
Is it a breath to take, though?
I'll be watching it.
All right, Melissa.
Yes.
What's your thought here?
Don't ask questions is the first rule of life with the Dursleys. I mean the faceless men.
Right. Basically.
Yeah, every time she asks a question, they either like hit her or look at her like she's an idiot. I'm like, Harry Potter. Hold on, I know this one.
This feels like it's right up my alley.
Right. I have a reference.
Diagon Alley.
Oh.
Who knew? Benj,
No,
what do you
it's
think?
Diagon Alley.
Die again, alley.
Diagon Alley.
There you go. It was pretty handy having that needle-sized hole right there in the rocks. You know, just kind of pulled like two back and
Stick.
right in. You know, just, there we go.
What we didn't see is she built up this huge mound around it and then pulled it out just to check that she could, and then this is just her putting it back in. But yeah, that's a pretty conveniently sized hole. Ab, what do you think here?
I don't know.
Just confused a little bit.
I'm not confused. This is like just, I'm let down is how I want to describe this. I was totally cool with Jaqen. I still am. I hate that Arya is giving up herself because she's so great who she is, and that this wasn't just the answer that she needed. It was much more complicated than I was assuming. I thought this was just going to be easy, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gets to my point, you know, that she's being forced to kind of lose herself, you know, and...
In the music.
In the moment.
You want it.
Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti. And become no one. But she's being forced to make this decision of, you know, like, hey, if you want to do this, these are the sacrifices you have to make. And so we see her start to do that with, you know, throwing a lot of these things in the water, and then also choosing to not throw everything in the water. So we'll see how that kind of goes for her. But it's kind of hard to throw all of yourself away. I mean, it's a pretty big
You
sacrifice.
have to
basically.
jump into the trash can.
To the trash can.
Like
Just
Oscar?
I'm throwing myself away.
Oh my god. Glenn, sometimes it feels so stupid when you say things, and like 4 minutes later, I'm like, oh, that was funny.
Did I miss anyone? I think we got everything. Any other thoughts on Bravos? Abby's a little disappointed, and everyone else is just watching. So let's go ahead and hop on a Jojen boat and go to King's Landing.
Tug, tug.
Jojen. So we see King Tommen, first of his name, Queen Marjorie, and their court. Some words are said, some cloaks are shared, and a royal couple is bedded.
Glory. The royal couple.
Royal.
Go to a glory hole.
So there's King's Landing.
It was a pretty wedding.
Yeah, Abby, kick us off.
It was a pretty wedding. It's much better than any of the other ones I feel like I've seen.
Consummate the marriage by going to a
Well,
glory
Let's just
hole.
start with no one died.
It wasn't
By
cringeworthy.
Rothrock.
Glory
I
hole.
disagree.
Really?
Ceremony.
Yeah, that first kiss between the two of them, and she's like twice as it just.
Right there.
Nope.
Yeah, Benji said it right. It's a very poor Dothraki affair. It's more people need to die if that's the case.
3.
I know. I said more people need to die.
More than that. So 3.
I just feel like Marjorie's such a lesser
times.
evil than Cersei that I'm so happy that, yes, okay, I get that he's going to be, like, married and he's too young. I don't really care because we're having people with claws in them and using him, and I'd rather it be Marjorie than Cersei. So
Okay.
I'm good.
I can buy that.
Congratulations, Tommen.
Melissa, take it away.
She's very good. She, being Marjorie, is very, very good at manipulating him. Like when he talks about, oh, I just want to stay in bed and do this all day. She's like, yes, wouldn't that be glorious? But let's pace ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And then later on when she's like, oh, there's no rush. You know, she's like, dude, back off, man. Like, I just like want a cookie or like something. But she's so good at being polite and kind and well-spoken, but totally getting what she wants.
Oh yeah, no, she's definitely playing the game, and she knows all the moves. Like this is not her first rodeo, quote unquote.
But I don't think she does it in a way that hurts other people.
No, it's,
like one Cersei might do.
Yeah, it might be manipulating, but it's not. It
She
doesn't
uses her powers for good.
Potentially.
presentation's a little bit better.
She bends her will easier. I mean, easier on others, or
It just has a much more positive connotation for the choices that she's making and the way she does it. It seems less conniving. It seems less detrimental to the people that she's manipulating.
'Cause
It's
it's
still
their
manipulation,
choice.
but she's letting them make that choice and just encouraging, which is
wouldn't that be
Well, that's
swell?
Matthew. What do you think about these pictures?
I think he looks like a puny motherfucker. Got some hot chick. I don't know how the hell he did that, but
He's king.
king.
He's king.
ah, well that sucks, dude. I mean, you gotta get a
And
better
he's like,
king
what,
than
His
that.
brother
14?
died. That's how that
Well,
happened.
Ah,
Yeah, his brother died.
Oh,
His
no,
brother was murdered at
upgrade.
his wedding to her.
Who cares?
What
Upgrade.
Honestly, this is so
Right.
great. I'm so
He's
excited about
so
this
much
wedding.
better than the brother.
is he?
Yes.
Look at him.
Okay, hold on.
Uh,
All in favor of Tommen being better than Joffrey?
Glenn, put your
Oh, come on, Glenn.
Well, then Joffrey must have really sucked.
Uh,
He
yeah.
really
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
He's awful.
and this
Matthew-
is just based on pictures. So
Matthew, if you
know,
learned nothing else about this
Don't-
show, Joffrey
Don't
sucks.
judge a show by the pictures.
well, but I judge plenty of pictures by their covers, and that cover sucked.
All right, Glenny Dog.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely the balls in her court. And
Yeah, obviously, because she's got all the little balls.
she's got all the balls, all the marbles. Anyways, like, and I think this is something that Cersei was kind of worried about. Like, she's gonna turn you against me or whatever. And like, we kind of see that, hey, you should send your mom packing,
Right.
And then I kind of agreed with Benji's. I'll let him say his, and then I'll agree with it.
Okay, Benj, say yours so that Glenn can also agree.
I liked how Tommen was like, King Tommen. That sounds odd. Does Queen Marjorie sound odd to you? Yes.
So
Yes, it does.
strange.
So strange. It's this kid has no chance in hell of ever doing anything he wants to do. She has her claws and has her thorns in him so deep that she got him in the perfect time. She's wrapped around him.
Because
That's
I'm
it.
in so deep and I'm trying to keep.
Okay, yeah. So
How many songs?
I thought you were
There's a
talking
lot
about
of songs today.
like the beginning of the scene, like they're saying their vows or whatever, and like
Oh.
Marjorie's voice sounds so weird, like it's just like a demon.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't notice
I thought that's what he was talking about. But
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
The betting scene, yeah.
Whenever they are going through their pillow talk here and they're talking about how Tommen's like, I'm only here because, my brother died, and like that's just weird. And yeah, go get some butter.
do we need butter?
Anyone need any butter? Anyone in the chat need some butter?
I think we need some margarine.
We need some margarine, Tyrell.
Tyrell.
Oh. But like whenever Tommen's talking about Joffrey, and he's like, I should probably feel guilty. Or she's like, do you feel guilty about it ever? And he's like, that's the weird part. I don't feel guilty. Like I'm perfectly fine with this because Joff was kind of the worst.
Yes, the worst.
Maybe he's just saying that to get back in on the
Used to be mean
saddle.
to my cats.
I know. Maybe that's what's going on, Glenn.
What could I say to make her stop talking?
Let's talk about her dead husband who died at their wedding
of them.
feast. Her second dead husband.
Well, this bitch sounds crazy.
She knows how to pick them.
I mean, seriously, she's got two dead husbands and
Two
one
dead
died
king
at the.
husbands.
And this is her
Oh, they're
first
both
wedding.
kids.
No, kings.
Oh,
Kings.
king. Oh, wow.
This is her third king
So
husband.
she's
She's got the
not
triple
really-
crown.
So she's not really a gold digger. She's a fucking crown digger.
Oh, yeah.
She's really rich.
and she's really good at it. She's getting all the
Rich
crown.
That
people
or the
marry
people who
other
are
rich
setting
people.
her up
Wow.
are,
Well, good for her. Applause to her. She's a good looking girl that gets all the kings. I mean, every girl's dream, right?
I don't know.
I
I can't speak to that.
You want to be, well, I guess no girl ever dreams to be queen. They always just want to be princess.
I think the representative for the girls tweeted out, yes.
Well, just check the stats. So let's move on to our next scene here, where we have Tommen, Cersei, and Marjorie. Tommen asks his mother about her childhood home. Cersei offers assistance to the new queen, Melissa.
So, do you think she's intelligent? I can't quite tell. Not that it matters. I love how Cersei, undermines Marjorie just as Marjorie had undermined Cersei. And then at the end, when Cersei comes to Marjorie's table and all of the handmaids stand up and Marjorie doesn't, quite. She does.
She takes her time.
But she definitely speaks first and then rises because she's the queen. It was very interesting to watch the power struggle between these two, being so polite and absolutely getting the upper hand and the upper hand and the upper hand.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, my thought definitely goes right into that. And when Marjorie's like, "Oh, I wish we had some wine here for you. It's a bit early for us. It's a bit early in the day for us." Shade has been thrown.
That's awesome.
It was so, and it's so sweet. And like, if someone was just listening in, they might not catch it.
It's such a grandma thing to do.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's an old ladies club move for sure.
I'm not sure how to refer to you. Is it Queen Mother
or Dowager
Queen?
Oh man,
so good.
Great.
My favorite part of all of this is when they
shows up. She's like, "Mother."
Oh, Queen Mother. Yeah,
Mada.
My favorite part, though, is when Cersei's like, "Oh, I can't stay," and she finally does leave after all the shade is thrown, and and the girls, your squad, your pack, they all just giggle like mean girls.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Is it like when a Southern girl says, "Oh, bless her heart"?
Yes.
Bless her soul.
Yeah.
Is it just like that?
Bless his soul.
Whenever-
I've never
whenever
heard
your
Southern-
heart.
Southern-
Bless your heart.
Yeah, that means
that
you
one.
stupid bitch.
Yeah.
You know, I know that
It's the
means.
How I Met Your Mother episode with, "Oh, honey."
Yeah.
All right, Benj.
So I loved when Cersei's walking up and you can overhear Marjorie talking to her hens. And she's like, "I said to the king, we've already gone 4 times. Are you trying to set a record?" "Well, what's the record? I'm sure we can break it." Now that's the spirit, young man. That's the spirit right there. It's still a little creepy, given the age differences. Even though he's aged up in the show a bit, still a bit creepy. But yeah, when and she says that, and then when she's talking to Cersei, she's like, "Pretty soon you're going to be the queen, or what is it, the grandmother queen regent or something."
Mhm.
The way your son's going, just nail in that fucking wound a little bit more on Cersei. "Yep, I'm fucking your kid."
Yeah,
Right?
he is half lion and half stag.
Yeah.
Glennie.
Yeah, like Cersei's she's doing a great job at not being a bitch. Like, it just seems like kind of the storm where like something like this is just going to set Cersei over the edge, and she's just going to be a total cunt. Like, kind of like there was that one episode of South Park where Cartman is they make him like not like, you can't make fun of Kyle for being a Jew, and then like Kyle says something like very stereotypical Jew like, and Cartman is just like, just like anxiously like trying not to say anything, and then he just snaps. Like, it's just kind of that calm before the storm where like she hasn't snapped obviously, but like she might like about to snap, I think, is what it seems like.
Yeah, no, she kind of holds it together pretty decently, and but when she finally does leave that room, and that's her face. Yeah, no, like Cersei, pissed off Cersei is.
She looks mean.
She's mean. She is mean. And
She's all right.
I took that picture for that exact reason.
yeah, I'm glad you included that because it's pretty telling on this was what, if you didn't catch it, this was the real feeling behind everything that people were saying in that room.
I make that face a lot.
Yeah, that is your resting face. That's
Is that your resting
Bitch face?
Yeah.
resting queen face.
Resting queen. I like that.
Mine looks more like Marjorie.
No. Mine is seriously.
Yeah.
Smirk on her face. Was that last step? Like, there was something about.
Oh, she does. Cersei says something because we actually didn't talk about the scene with Tommen and Cersei here, where he's actually telling her, "Don't you want to go to your childhood home?" And it's when Cersei's talking about Marjorie, and she's like, "Yeah, she's so beautiful. She sure as fucking smiles a lot." Like, she does smile a lot,
Do you think
She's a
she's
smiler.
intelligent? I can't tell.
right?
Yeah. She's fucking smart.
But
So
yeah, so it doesn't
Cersei.
seem like Tommen's going to be able to pretty easily convince Cersei to leave the capital, as it seemed like he was trying to. But he was doing it in a way that, again, he's been primed by Marjorie to do this, even though he thinks it's kind of his idea because it's good for Cersei. He's under the mindset
Doing
that,
it.
hey, you would want to go to your childhood home, right? I mean,
Out of kindness.
yeah, he's like legitimately trying to do this as a nice thing for Cersei.
God, he would almost be like
He would be a
good
great king.
If
Like,
everybody
if
would
he
just
could
leave him the hell alone.
Right now, I trust Marjorie guiding him.
Yes.
And I
Right.
think that's kind of what you were getting.
Yes.
Like,
I get that he's being manipulated, but at least it's like a decent manipulation. Like, I don't know.
Again, she's guiding him in the right way.
Yeah.
She's, manipulating him, but she's taking him down the right path.
Or at least a closer path to the right way.
Yeah.
Let's not give her that much credit yet. We don't
I'll
know.
give it to her. I like her.
All right,
Okay.
let's move on to our next set of scenes, which opens with a extended scene that we can't show much of. And Benj did a good job. I checked him earlier. He's like, let's just do a quick double check. But it's this set of scenes here, where we have High Septon, 7 Hooers, Lancel, the Sparrows, Cersei, Kyber, GMP, and Mace. The High Septon prays to the gods, the Sparrows make him walk, and he turns to the Queen for counsel.
Hey, you got 7 Hooers. Why do you need to turn to the Queen for counsel? Jesus, take care of the Hooers.
So what happens in this scene is, this is the High Septon, basically the Pope of this religion, and these religious fanatics come in and drag him out naked, walking through the streets, and like whacking him with the stick so he can't cover himself.
He
up.
tries to cover his junk or whatever, and they keep whacking his hands, so he'd take his hands off his junk.
And so the thing is, though, Matthew, the 7 Whores were playing the 7 gods of his religion, and he was picking a few to pray to that day.
You know, multiple is extra, right? Yes.
Got it.
And so then he goes to the Queen for help with these religious fanatics.
I would change religions.
Do you think the Pope's going to change religions this easy?
I would. Well, I'm not saying he would, but
Yeah.
I'm out.
So,
They're gonna watch me down the street naked and
I'm leaving the
smack my
Vatican.
hands.
Melissa, kick us off here.
So, what really struck me is Mace's reaction when the High Septon comes to the Queen's small council, and he's like, "What you did?" Is he really that
Yes.
surprised?
Yes.
Like by the
What?
Septon's extracurriculars? Is he that dense?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you watched anything else we've talked about? No,
No.
I'm just kidding. But
Actually,
Like-
I've seen the show.
What is this rubbish?
every single time they give him an extra job to do because he's so great. It's not really because he's great. It's just because
I do declare.
exactly.
His face. Oh, you're not only going to be Master of Coin, you're also going to be Master of Ships.
Oh, I am.
Ooh.
He just
did he say that now?
I don't know. How did he keep all his money and be so rich?
Because
He's so
of
dense.
his
pen and paper.
wife and his mother.
mother.
He's just a title head.
What'd you say, Benj?
Yeah. Lord Tyrell, go give me a pen and paper.
Oh, sure, okay. I love helping out.
Oh, Tywin, talk to me.
That's
I would
exactly the
also
plan.
be like him if I met Tywin. However, it's for different motives. Sorry.
That is different motive.
Sorry. I just love him.
All right, Abby, what'd you think of this scene?
Really, my only thought about it was I can't believe that he picked those two. Bad choices, bro. And that beard on that
The stranger in the
one. Yeah, that's terrible.
The maiden.
That's
Always the maiden.
Can you bring it down here?
It's Clovis.
Clovis.
the beard on the I don't know, the septum, the guy
The
playing.
high septon. This guy?
Yeah.
No. Oliver.
Oh.
Oliver.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's
Legit.
is that one
I
guy
don't know if I
that
was able to get a picture of him.
the first time he's
There you
There.
go.
the first time he's been named was a couple episodes ago. or
Okay,
something like
who
that.
is that guy? Because I feel like I've missed
He
that.
is Loris's boy toy.
Thank you.
He was also
with
Squire.
Oberyn's.
Oberyn's.
that's what I
Yeah,
was,
also in the scene when Oberyn was introduced.
Got it.
But he wasn't
Where
named.
he was
then.
named to Oberyn.
No, he wasn't. But anyway, Veggie's still mad about that because we all disagree with him. But, Glennie, any other thoughts on this scene?
Me? Yeah, it seemed like that 7 sex fetish or fantasy seemed a little bit trendy.
I've got 7 gods at my orgy party. Trendy.
Yeah, it was just kind of ridiculous how this guy's got this what is that, a scale or something like that, and he's got the beard going on, and then this guy's just dealing with all these naked hooers, and it was just a little
Yeah,
it was something else.
You would think if somebody from the north had the same fetish that they'd end up with splinters or something.
here's a wooden dildo or something.
sorry.
Ben, you got other thoughts here?
Yeah, so GMP with the sagest of all advices. A man's private affairs should remain private. Creepy old bastard. You can tell he's still pissed about Tyrion walking in on him with his little whore friend back in season 2. So that's just kind of a play on that. Finding out the High Septon's getting, called out.
I feel like a lot of guys feel that way. Just
What,
say
that the High Septon's going to come in?
No, that their private affairs should stay private. Sorry, not going down that road. Anyways.
No political commentary today.
You didn't get a text message to change your number on me?
Probably.
Did you really?
No, I did not change my phone number. But I do like
You motherfucker.
whenever the High Septon does come into the room and he's looking around, he's clearly gauging the room, and he's like, "Your Grace, Grand Maester, Lord Tyrell." And Kyber's just like, "It doesn't matter." I instantly just makes me think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Do you know?
Can you smell what Kyburn is cooking?
Oh my god.
So true in so many ways.
And he's just like, it doesn't matter.
You Jimbroni.
Is that a yes? That's a yes.
But yeah, any other thoughts here in King's Landing?
High Septon Jimbroni.
Jim Brony. All right, then we are going to, real quick, shout out in the chat. We have 2 patrons joining us. We've got Bailey, who's been on a couple of episodes with us, and also I saw Terrence from Hogwarts Radio in here. Hey guys, welcome. Glad our patrons could join us. We are going to take a Jojen train,
Nope, you're skipping one.
a ghost Jojen train,
No.
to Cersei talking to the High Sparrow and Qyburn, still in King's Landing.
It's not going
It's
very
actually
far.
it's actually a
A secondary stop.
Show it on.
no, what are a Jojen palanquin?
Shuttle.
It's like
Camper van.
it's like the Metrolink when you go.
A penny cab.
A rickshaw.
There you go. So we have Cersei, who meets the new religious leader and sends an important note to Micro Finger. Abby.
So I'm not going to comment on the sends a note to Microfinger thing because I kind of missed that. Can't lie. But the first part where she meets with this new guy, the High Sparrow, first of all, sweet name.
High Sparrow?
Oh yeah, totally. I like it for many reasons. Obvious reasons. Just a sparrow and the high. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on from that. She's going to team up with this guy. Is it? It's a bad idea, I think. But that's okay. I don't really understand why she's so interested in talking to him.
I think it's just another ace up her sleeve, or get an ally or something real quick. And
Clearly seems to be gaining some power. If
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if he's got fanatics that are backing him, that are doing things that loud, she's better to befriend them and try to control it a bit.
until she knows more information.
You are all exactly right. My comments are better suited for later on.
Okay, fair enough. Melissa.
I don't really have one for this scene other than when I watched the entire series basically in 1-2 week period the first time, I was like, that's an actor I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I know him as Governor Weatherby Swan from the Pirates of the Caribbean, where there is another sparrow, might I add. But I knew him before as he played the husband of Evita in the Madonna version of Evita back in the late 90s.
Blow up a castle?
What? No.
Don't Cry for Me, Argentina?
Yes.
Blow up a castle. Come on, you don't remember that? Never mind.
I don't. Apparently,
That's
it's
inside
like an
joke.
that is
Just
not
for you.
that nobody
funnier
gets.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even me.
Okay,
No.
moving
So,
on.
yeah, that's how I know him, and I always appreciated that he was on the show.
It was funny. back
I
in
believe
the day.
you.
25 years ago.
We'll
I
take your
remember
word
it.
for it that it was funny.
You know,
Don't cry.
that's canon. All right, Ben, do you have a good comment towards something Abby just was talking about?
Silly name, like Lord Duckling or King Turtle. We don't usually pick the names for ourselves.
King Turtle.
I do like that line, and I was really hoping that might be in the trivia thing, but I figured it wasn't. But as I've said before, the ones with religion behind them are usually the most dangerous. And he's got the fanatics; they got nothing else to live for but their god. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. And it makes sense Cersei trying to get him on her good side, or get on his good side.
Yeah, I think he's definitely having a pretty interesting introduction. You know, it's when he says, "Well, I tell them no one's special, and they think I'm special for telling them." So, no doubt, like the small folk are going to get behind this sentiment. You know, like with all of the shittiness that they get put through for these big names in the story, like all the knights and lords and people who live in castles, like that's all we ever see, but they're ruling for the small folk. Well, should be, but that's not quite the case, and they are just constantly being shit on. And here's a guy that is kind of like, hey, if we group together,
we can eat porridge and
we can have some porridge,
don't have
some hair pork,
lose our shoes.
Yeah, we can just not wear shoes.
So he's kind of like the Mother Teresa of King's Landing.
That's
Yes.
what it seems like.
Awesome.
That's how I
And
feel about him.
I think it's pretty easy for the masses to want to follow something like that.
Mass.
Somebody who actually cares about them, it seems.
Right. Ian also says that
Shocking.
these people that get put on these pedestals, they're not special. Like, they're not special. If that makes me special for saying that, I'm not asking for it. That's just what kind of happens.
Sorry, Peter Griffin's got a great comment in the thing in the chat. I thought of $15 an hour when I saw him. Kind of has a resemblance to a political figure. I'll leave it at that. It makes sense to me.
Oh,
Laugh, so
you look like Bernie.
yeah.
Feel the burn.
Bernie Sanders.
All right.
Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has glasses.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much distinction there.
New name. Hi, Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Okay, we're going to move on from political talking.
Yeah, no political, no politics.
This is a worse room.
Except
No,
for Ed's
if
story.
you call him Colonel Sanders, then it's about chicken.
See,
And chicken.
I'm okay with
chicken's
Colonel
good.
Sparrow. I
Colonel's-
think I can make that judgment.
I'm with you on Colonel Sparrow. That's
Just
pretty
connect
awesome.
the dots to Bernie Sanders and
Yeah,
him.
we know that
but
we know that the joke is in there.
the
As long
chicken.
as you
The
bring
chicken
me
is
fried chicken
what
when
kind
you
of
do
brings it
I
together.
agree.
I like it.
Glennie, thoughts here?
Yeah, I kind of said that my note earlier, but let's just go back real quick to the Lord Duckling and King Turtle. That just sounds like some children's cartoon or something like that.
I feel like those are like two villains in Darkwing Duck.
Here comes Lord Duckling and King Turtle. I, King Turtle, decree.
Do go on.
I think we got a show, in the works.
All right, yeah, we'll workshop it. All right, so we are going to finally take our Jojen train.
Hey, watch out for the
Holy crap. There's a knight coming behind
beer
me,
hog.
isn't there?
The beer hog
There's a knight
attacks.
behind
Has
you.
decided a night needs to come in.
The beer hog strikes again.
Night is coming.
The long night.
Night is here.
Ends.
All right, so let's take that Jojen train. Glenn, if you want to start it up for us.
Joe.
It's like it's stopping. All aboard, Jojen! All right, so we are going to...
Somebody just go.
Yeah, that was this microphone. It was joining in the Jojen fun. That was the air brakes letting loose. And we are at Moat Kalen, where we see Roose, Ramsey, and Reek. Roose learns how his son collects taxes and takes Ramsey to Alliance Online University, AOU.
AOU.
All right. Glennie, kick
It's
us
a
off.
lot of vowels.
AOU, and sometimes Y.
AOU and sometimes Y University.
That's the university I'll go to.
Okay, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but Roose kind of mentions, if you think the Lannisters and or their army are going to march north, you're clearly mistaking. We need to make allies in the north and not go and, fillet them. That's not what you do or whatever.
Filet
But
men
he makes a great point, and I think that's why Roose is such a good leader, if you will. He knows his shit.
Yeah, no, he's definitely playing a pretty smart, role there.
Right, because
he's like,
the
Ramsey,
Lannisters back us, cool. They ain't coming up
they've
here.
never been this far north in
They
a
will
1,000
not.
fucking years. Let's not count on that.
Yeah.
Pretty good call, Roose. Ramsey, kind of an idiot. Benj.
I think Ramsey misses calling. He totally could have been, Westerosi IRS. A flayed man pays his debts. Just saying.
But he had to flay the fucking wife and child while the kid
They're
watched.
That's his thing.
It's the husband.
That's his
You know?
thing.
He's like
Let
the
him
wet,
kill him.
like the wet band. That's it. Let's go back to Home Alone real quick. The wet bandits have their thing where
Stuff it in.
stuff
Every
the
time.
And they turn all the...
That's so stupid,
This-
Marv.
But we're the wet bandits.
What are you scared, Mom?
What are you scared, Mom? Joe Pesci.
We're the
I
wet
think
bandits.
at this point we've had as
Everyone
many
has their
Home
calling
Alone
card.
references as South
This-
Park.
Season 5 is the season of Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Mhm.
We've got Kevin McLannister.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
We've got Wet Bandits / Ramses. That's his calling card.
I mean, and Kevin McLannister went home alone last episode. We talked about that.
Yeah. And we could go in about the pizza and
Yeah, let's hold the
statue.
pizza off for maybe the epilogue episode. We'll talk about
I'm
that
sure
again.
we're going to come across some filthy animals.
I think we will. But yeah, Benj, that's a good point about the IRS. Like it's they're basically evil, and Ramsey is too. So I like it.
The IRS is evil. I
Melissa.
know what
So-
you're talking about. Fuck the IRS.
I feel like the scene where Roos is sitting down with Ramsey at the dinner table, first of all, feels very much like a parent to me. He's so mad at his kid, right? Because you screwed up. You did it wrong because you're not seeing the big picture.
Because you're dumb.
Well, and he's a kid who doesn't have a broader sense of things. And then Ramsey's
That's
the
what I
petulant.
meant by
Yeah.
dumb.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Oh, what? Like, he's a stupid kid who doesn't have enough life experience to see
Yes.
things.
Stupid
And then Ramsey's
boy.
this petulant kid who's angry that he's being reprimanded by his dad, not realizing, oh man, my dad's probably right and I need to think about it. But fuck you, dad, you suck. Even though his dad's right. Sorry, man. Either that or I've been a parent way too long to take the side of a kid.
No, when I saw it, I was like, yep, the stop eating and listen. It feels like dealing with a 3 or 4 year old. You're like,
Or a 13-year-old.
yeah, it's just like, can you just fucking focus for a minute? Like, can we be on the same team here? Can you just fucking quit?
Look at me when I'm talking to you.
At least he was
I'm down on
eating,
my
though.
knees, so you know I'm talking to fucking you.
Drop
Just
the fucking
seeing you
chicken
right now.
nuggets.
He was trying to get his grub on,
And so this picture right here is exactly when that moment happens. It's
Uh-huh.
oh,
Start chowing.
And
He
then
was
to
eating
sit
some-
up
giving
and
some
to look
tacos.
at, I'm going to look at you. I swear to God, that's what happened in my house last week at dinner. 13-year-old got pissed at me, looked at me just like that.
Yeah.
I won.
I also
As you
thought
do.
I'm sure there's some ladies in the audience that say it's a little bit like talking to a man at times as well too.
I'm not going to not agree with you.
That's why I said it for you guys.
Thanks.
I just felt like that talking to a certain person at the desk today at a certain place I went to, but not normal men in my life. They're not assholes. So,
Was it Walmart? I hate that place.
no, it was the St. Louis Arch, but it's cool.
Oh.
But it's cool.
Except you should go there because it's cool.
It is really cool.
All right,
This was not
let me look up the employees that work there.
Yeah.
Was it John Smith?
Park Ranger number 7763.
Ranger Joe.
Ranger Rick?
Ranger Joe.
Time for another cartoon with me.
It's weird that everyone in St. Louis has a full roster of all of their employees.
I'm going to hack the databases of all these companies.
All right, let me share the screen real quick so everyone can see it. Was it?
It's like a guess who. Of,
Was he wearing?
can you
did he have
guess
a mustache?
who's in
No,
our company?
Did he have blonde hair? No.
I love Guess
Was he
Who.
wearing
I would
sunglasses?
still play Guess Who.
Yes, it was Beer Hog
Does he look like Hank Williams Jr.
or Kid Rock.
or
Sometimes.
Kid Rock sometimes?
You know, if I ever meet Kid Rock, you know what I'm going to ask him?
What?
You know, does everybody
Ball
always
with
come
the
up
ball?
to you and say, you look an awful lot like Matt Hogan.
You look like the beer hog.
Like, good lord. I mean, does anybody, I get
all the
I get it all the time. So, I mean, he's got to get it too, right?
Ball.
Yeah,
He's
I would
got
say
to.
so.
Like,
I think I would kind of
you look
mumble.
just like the beer hog.
If I met Kid Rock, I would probably mumble a bit and just be like, "Ball with the ball, the bang, the bang."
I would ask him. I'd say, man, does anybody ever go up to you and say, God, you look just like the beer hog? That's what I'm like. Because they ask me all the time. So he's got to get it.
All right. Any other thoughts on our scene here with Roos, Ramsey?
The only other thought I had, I really needed Benji for, and he left, so.
Yeah, Benj, are you
Damn
there?
it!
I was just gonna call, what's his name? Ramsey a bastard, because he dared me to do it on a podcast that I just re-listened to today on Radio Public, or
Oh,
Public
yeah.
Radio, or whatever
Radio
it's called.
Public.
There you
Oh, he's
go.
back. Oh, did you hear that,
Yeah,
Benji?
just to see what he'd say.
Notary public.
Say it again,
good.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Abby.
good.
I said my last point on this scene was I just wanted to call Ramsey a bastard because you dared me to do it on a podcast previous that I said
You have been banned from the Dreadport.
challenge accepted. That's all.
It's like, have you guys seen what's that movie?
You're not going to get your jerky. I'm not going to tell you what.
Before you get to it, probably not, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Abby likely has it.
The movie Elf, whatever.
Yeah, we were
actually,
just talking about that earlier.
actually, it's Peter Dinklage.
Nope.
But I guess Will Ferrell calls him an elf, and he's like, "Call me an elf one more time."
One more time.
He's an angry elf.
He's an angry elf. Well, on that note, let's move to a less fun scene with Sansa and Microfinger. The pair arrive at the moat, and Sansa figures out the plan. Melissa, I'm just going to go to you first on this one because you're so excited about this scene.
I won't make you do anything you don't want to. Dance, my puppet. Dance for me. Do
Dance,
exactly
monkey.
what I want you to do,
Dance
whether you
for
want to or
$1.
not, because I'm going to make it seem like a trade.
Here's
God, I
a
hate
dollar.
that guy.
Just do it.
Is it any different than what Marjorie's doing
No.
for Tommen? That's my only rebuttal to
A
it.
little bit, because Tommen's getting some out of that one. So,
Oh, Microfinger would love to get
Whoa.
I know, but that's my point. At least Tommen has some
Tommen's breaking.
benefit.
Tommen's breaking records.
Sansa gets no benefits here.
Thomas get into that Guinness book.
The
Abby?
Guinness scroll.
Guinness scroll.
I'm so disappointed by this scene, hurt by it. Microfinger, you've done it to me again. But I was expecting it this time. I knew it was too good to last. You know, you being fakely decent. And then,
Are you crying?
no.
You hold up okay over there? Ab?
Wipes the tear away.
Fakely decent.
Or is there onions in the room or something?
Yeah, it's just real difficult, guys. But my other thing is about
We
this.
lost a lot of good
At the
onions.
same
out
time, it kind of excites me about the prospect of what could happen, what Sansa could make happen
You said he
from
played for
here.
the Yankees. Yeah. Did free agency and trade? We lost a lot of good men out there.
I think they're doing a different show.
Sorry. That happens sometimes.
It does. I
You know
just
what
sit
think about
quietly.
this scene? I love it.
Yeah.
There's a moat.
Dude,
How awesome is a moat?
I mean, that is a
Sometimes
pretty
you dig one, you
badass,
Put an alligator in it.
creepy looking castle, isn't it?
It's a moat.
I don't.
If I ever win the lottery,
kinda
then
small.
I'm going to have a moat around my
They're
house.
really far.
It's going to be a
No, that's what he
but
says.
It's going to be a
No,
Moat
it's
nonetheless.
kind of small.
Right. So, I mean, other than that,
Well, it's no Harrenhal
that's my thought. It's a
That's
freaking
true.
moat.
or Erie.
I mean, it wouldn't
that
be
one's
as eerie.
impressive.
Mine would.
The Erie.
That
No.
one's
Mine
definitely
would
impressive.
Scary. Too high.
Yeah.
But it's still impressive.
Truth.
Striking when you see it.
It's a moat.
Bench?
So,
I see a
have
blank
a note
spot.
all typed out on this. I felt bad for typing it because I do like the Sansa character. I love that she's grown and she's improved, but this is her reverting back to the stupid little girl, not have. I'm
Yeah, no, I get where you're going with it. Like,
not having the guts to. When Mike Finger says, "If you want to turn around and go, we can go," but do what I say. Like Melissa said, dance, puppet, dance.
Okay, deal.
You know, why not? Okay, cool. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
This was
Yeah.
a terrible idea. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go back to the Vale.
I don't like how that. I don't like this. I'm just, that's all I can say about it. I can't really go into detail. I really, truly, one of my least favorite parts of the show.
Feel like this is her immediate future is very bleak, is how I feel. Like it's not going to be good, but I feel like it's exciting because I don't think that Sansa ever turns from being a Stark. She's always going to be pissed off about what happened to her family. And I feel like at some point this has let her into the wolf's den. Terrible analogy there, but she's inside. She can make some, I don't know, poison them. Stick
And
with it.
that goes to
With the pointy
to
end.
my point of, he says to her, they killed your family. You have no home because they burnt it to the ground. Well, they didn't, but your home was burnt down.
Somebody did.
Your family is basically all dead. Stop being a bystander. Stop letting things happen around you. Start making moves is his main point here. He's been having her under his wing is how he's viewing it. I'm not saying I agree that it's healthy relationship, but in his mind, that's what he's been doing with their time spent in the Vale. And he's letting her in, seeing these things, teaching her how to play the game. And now this is a chance for her to kind of get on her own 2 feet and start making some moves in a very dangerous way. I agree, with a very dangerous set of people. But if you can make some moves, they can be really big splashes real quick that set the tone for a lot of things moving forward. So, I mean, basically, yeah, this is...
chess. Sometimes you just got moved. I don't even know what you're talking about,
But that's pretty well said, because this is essentially the queen of her family's opposing team that took out their whole team, basically, and she's all that's left,
Yeah,
kind of
she's
deal.
the heir.
And you move the fucking queen.
Well,
and you
kind
put her
of.
in
I
a
don't
position
know.
to kick.
So
It's the only one we see.
it's definitely a questionable thing. Should she have turned back? I mean, probably. But at the same time, he's trying to empower her in a certain way and help her, encourage her to do some things.
See, I see what you're saying, but I
But I'm entirely
just
wrong, and
don't
that's
think I just don't think this is like the right one though. There's got to be like this is not the only opportunity to do something though.
I completely agree with you. Completely agree. It's definitely irresponsible. It's not a smart move, but it's one that they can do. I don't know. I see where he's coming from. I don't necessarily agree
Right.
with it.
What?
Not being a bystander, but like
He hasn't heard anything about Ramsey. Like, Ramsey has flayed, like, I don't want to say
Well, he
cities,
was-
but, like, multiple people at this point.
he was a bastard at one point. So
But
kinda
Microfinger
not
hasn't
really.
heard about, like, I don't know. He's just such a
Well, he's not
bad
Varys.
guy.
I mean, he definitely has connections and things, but I
Yeah.
don't know if his communication web is quite as tight and well-rounded and everywhere like Varys is.
And it used to
is-
be not Varys and Microfinger together, but when we would get information, it would be Varys information.
In King's
Microfinger
Landing.
Exactly.
Or very specifically
Right.
located places. So I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah.
much he knows about him. But let's go ahead and move on to our next scene if we have no other
Well,
thoughts
I
on
guess
it.
I'll
Oh,
not say my note.
Glennie,
but
sorry, man.
we'll
No,
move
no,
on.
no, go for it. Sorry, Glenn.
It's okay.
He's going to hear about that later.
Go for it. I want to hear it.
So he says, "You're not going to marry Roose. You're marrying his son-in-law, Ramsay." Yeah, like I just don't agree with the logic. Like, so it's just cool now because now it's not Roose, it's Ramsay. So it's all good to go. Like, it's like just forget everything that happened and go out and avenge your family. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Something smells fishy.
Yeah.
Something's rotten in the state of Denmark.
It's not. This is. I'm on edge here, guys.
Right.
You can pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge.
That's right.
All right. Right. So on Sunday, we can also see Brienne and Pod as stories of hams and balls are shared. Benj.
So, listening to Brienne's story, that feeling you get when you realize they're laughing at you and not with you never goes the fuck away. You can grow up and you can become friendly with people. People who actually like you and want to be there, but you always feel like they're just laughing at me. They're just something's gonna happen where the rug's gonna be pulled out and all that. But a bit of kindness goes 1,000 miles, and that's what Renly gave her. So, I mean, it makes sense why she was so devoted to him back when she served him.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. Like that loyalty out of the kindness that he showed her is, I mean, it seems so genuine and pretty an easy sell. It explains a lot of why she was so devoted to him. And yeah, no, I like that we get some background on that. Melissa?
I'm super impressed with you.
So with Brienne and Pod, I really like when Pod was kind of giving it back to her when she's like, I mean to you and I do this. And he's like, if you didn't snap at me, I'd never learn. Hashtag Team Pod over here. He's awesome because he gets that, like, he can learn something from each of these people he has been the student of each time, that no matter who he's with, he can take something and be a better person himself from it. I like him.
Yeah, he doesn't look at challenges or things like that as obstacles. He looks at them as like opportunities. He takes like the lesson out of these troubling things of, hey, I didn't learn much about being a fighter with Tyrion, but I learned all these other things that he's already been able to use with Brienne. And the same thing with Brienne is like, well, you might be hard on me, but guess what? It's making me tougher. I mean, all these things that I didn't know before, I do know now, and you're an amazing fighter and all this. Abby?
It's just the same thing you guys are saying. He doesn't take the corrections as his, like, lack of ability or...
And she's not attacking him. He doesn't look at it that way.
or how he is insufficient or just against himself. He just uses it for better. It's nice to have a person like that. It's very hard to find a person like that.
Glennie?
Yeah, so at one point, because they're kind of exchanging stories back and forth or whatever, and I think Pod's kind of explaining like how he became a squire for Tyrion, and like Brienne just kind of assumes, so it was kind of punishment for both of you or whatever, and he's like, actually, it was pretty cool.
Hey, not too bad. Hey.
We had some good times. So.
Yeah, I liked getting Pod's backstory here. It was kind of like a shitty circumstance, but he was saved by his name. And then it like makes me think, well, how many small folk, like similar soldiers have been killed because they didn't have the name, like for like the exact same thing, where they're just kind of like
stupid,
like brought in, like
guilty by association,
right? And it's just like, okay, we'll just kill all 10 of them or whatever.
Yeah. So
Make him watch.
Do you know the significance of his name? Does that?
I can't lie.
Major pain.
I missed this part. Like I said, guys, like I'm sorry that my
No,
first time
no.
watcher
Just-
is
So
terrible.
it wasn't so much specific on this scene, but he was saved by his name.
Give me
His last name being Payne.
Okay, like
Where
Ellen
else?
Payne.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. See, like this, I'm like, all I remember is hearing Brienne. The only part of this scene I really remember hearing is Brienne and talking about Renly dancing with her. I had missed like kind of going up to it, and then I heard like and I just kind of surmised what was going on. I did not get his backstory.
Yep.
I was
Then the train
yelling at
goes
kids.
toot, toot.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
God, I gotta write this down on my new family tree. I got it going on. I
he's-
gotta convert this
He's
to notes.
Major Payne's son,
Major Payne's son. Got it.
there you go.
Son?
No,
adopted son.
Look at Glenn. He's so not lying to me right now.
he's not. He is
so
Major
light.
Payne from the movies. His son. Melissa, do you have a thought?
I'm just reading Bridge 4 on the chat said, I always assumed he was a quadrupod. So I just thought that was really funny. Good job.
Speaking of quadrupods, we have then in the next scene Sansa, Roose, Ramsay, Reek, Fat Walda, and an old handmaid. Sansa meets her new husband-to-be and is shown her new digs. Glenn, talk about them digs.
You just gotta love the digs, The digs are on the move.
Looking digs.
Still looking dig.
Got him.
Are these the new kids?
Stefan Diggs.
He's slacking.
Still looking dig.
His name is Jared.
Still looking good. His name is Jared. His name is Jared, and he likes to eat them sandwiches.
South Park with Jared from Subway. We're bringing back up to South Park.
Bring in Jared.
I want all the kids in town to have AIDS.
Bring in the Latino pregnant with Latinos.
Still looking good.
Oh, that works on so many levels now, Luke. That's just even wronger. I just, sorry.
So,
I think we got a question.
we have a question from the in-studio guests. Melissa, thoughts here?
So there was like a gaggle of girls.
Gaggle of girls.
The gaggle of girls. And they look pissed.
I didn't know girls were gaggles.
Well,
Yes.
you know who the first one in the front is, right?
No.
Okay.
Is it Jane? No.
No.
Okay. No. See, I
Seymour.
books. Seymour.
Miranda is what her name is.
No idea.
Miranda.
That is Ramsay's girlfriend.
We saw a scene with them earlier whenever
Thank
Yara,
Yeah.
yeah, whenever Yara showed up to try to save Reek,
Okay.
they were making coitus, as I think we called it in that
Got
episode.
it. Okay. That helps because I was like, they're either worried for her or pissed that she's there. And it was very much like a Mean Girls moment of like, who's this bitch coming up in my house? So that struck me in that
It's not even their house.
I know, right?
So I think the big question now is where are they going to go? Mari Povich or
Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer?
I mean, one of the two. I mean, because it's a completely different show.
The test results said that's a lie.
Whoa!
Right. I mean, which one does it belong in? I mean, are you going
Right.
to fight or are you going to just, it's not my baby?
Are we going to have yeah.
That's the, I mean, that's the.
And they could be on any one of the shows. The Steve Wilkos show was a thing.
They could be on Judge
I
Joe
remember
Brown if they
Jenny
want to.
Jones.
But Judge Judy ain't going to do
Steve
it.
Wilkos. I think that show was just like he was like the bodyguard for the Jerry Springer
Or Jerry
show.
Springer. Yeah.
But like every episode was like
Yeah.
I think a lot of it had to do with like domestic disputes and stuff like that. So he would just like go to like the you go to the guy and like, if you're gonna fight someone, fight me.
Well, he's a former cop, too, I think.
It was just like
And he
like
was
every
a Chicago
episode
police officer.
every episode almost like kind of came to that, I think.
Well, that's what they did.
And that's what they wanted, you know.
Right.
All right,
But it was
Ben.
just so funny.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the chat. I'm not going to call it out, but it's very funny.
Call it out.
So,
I can't read it. What does it say?
Words.
Words. So my note is, gotta love the half-second hesitation from Sansa. Like, she was just about to slap Roose. I think I got a picture in the Luke of it, just like her mom did, but she thought better of it.
Yeah, I don't see a picture in here. Because it would be
damn
before.
it.
I'm not seeing it. I was looking, because I saw your comment. I was looking.
Yeah, it was like right there where they're face to face, and she stops, and she's like, Lord Bolton, and like goes back into her courtesy, her shield of courtesy, but she wanted to slap the shit out of him. But then she looked over and saw Fat Walder and was like, she could probably take me.
Abby, any thoughts on Sansa meeting Roose and Ramsay? No.
Well, very well said. Very well said.
So then I'll talk about kind of the back half of this where Sansa goes into, as Glenn would say, her new digs.
Them digs.
Them digs. And, this handmaiden, this older lady who kind of invites her in and helps her get settled in, says, "Welcome home, Lady Sansa. The North remembers." That's why I'm wearing my North Remembers shirt by Sanrixian. So
Nice.
The digs remembers.
the digs remember. And I really liked seeing that. It made me feel a lot better about where Sansa is, that she's not necessarily alone in this. Abby, any thoughts on this portion of it?
I think this will come in handy. I don't know. I mean, nothing more than it's at face value, but
And they're in her digs.
I mean, it's her digs. It is
Yeah.
the North. They do remember.
The North digs.
She is
The
a
North.
a Stark, which carries more weight than I think a lot of people, at least in the Boltons, realize or understand or could possibly.
Yeah, you're going to
fathom.
carry that weight a long time.
A long, long time. Boy.
Yeah, that's true. Any other thoughts here in this portion of the scene? If not, we will go to the last scene at Moat Cailin. And Sansa, Reek, Ramsay, Roose, and Microfinger. Sansa takes a stroll. Ramsay gives his thanks, and Roose delivers a note from the Queen. Glenny, dog.
So yeah, Roose says at one point, like, I think Microfinger's trying to explain, like, oh, she's a virgin, her and Lord Tyrion never consummated the marriage. They never went to that glory hole.
Yeah, they did not go to the glory hole that Tom and Marjorie went to earlier.
Right. You consummate the glory hole.
You gotta do it right.
You got to do it right.
You have to follow the script.
Traditions are traditions, people.
As is tradition.
Don't hide behind a wall.
There
Just
was
get
a
out there and
wedding.
do it.
At any rate, though, Roose says, it's her name I need, not her virtue. I think that was pretty, like, Roose doesn't care about that shit. He's like, all I care about her is her last name, Stark. That's it. I don't care what the hell she's done, what glory holes she's been a part of or whatnot. So.
I don't care what kind of glory hole.
I think he does say that. It's one of the deleted scenes where he does.
No, it's in the commentary. They talk about it. Is what it was.
That was the glory after
did
she leaves
they
the digs.
Have good chemistry.
That's
what I need.
Well,
to
it
know.
wasn't
No.
Michelle McLaren. That was.
Okay.
I don't know if Mark Mylod would say the same thing.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
These two have such great chemistry. They're such great actors. This is the best place to film. All this bullshit. Like,
All this bullshit. Let's not talk about this. The show itself. Let's just talk about how fun it was being on set with these guys.
right.
And the chemistry.
And
All these people doing a great job and everybody doing their job.
And they all brought their own Erlenmeyer flasks and Bunsen burners. It was just awesome.
You gotta have the Erlenmeyer flask.
Get the Bunsen burners going.
Yeah, no, like the
graduated cylinders.
the not needing her virtue. We just need her name. It's really like classic patriarchy. Sell the girl off for the name bullshit. Like it's pretty accurate. That's all I'll say on that. But
We're gonna dangle some new digs out at you.
hey, here's a dig
Here,
or two.
Take the dig bait.
Take the dig bait. He says, and
Roose could at least pay a goddamn dowry for something like 4 cows and a goat or
To
something.
who? Her father's dead. Her
We'll give you-
brother's dead.
We'll give you the biggest pig.
Fucking Microfinger could use a goddamn goat.
Yeah, you're right.
no, you're missing the point. She made this choice, so she should get the payment.
Yes, you
Yes.
should.
But along with the, I assure you, she's still a virgin. Inspect her if you must. And Roose is just like, I'll leave that to the brothel keeper. He's talking to a brothel keeper. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
As Glenn would say, yeah. Melissa.
No,
As Luke
Glenn-
would say, that I would say, yeah.
I loved the battle of minds that happened between Roose and Microfinger. They were well matched on their battle of wits because they just kept digging. And again,
Digs.
yeah, right? Because that's where they are.
And dig, and dig.
It's not Molestown.
Dig, and diggity dig. Sorry.
It's the musical episode. You didn't realize what you were getting when you signed us all up.
When you have this many Hogans in a room.
Trendy!
You stepped on my Asian.
I think I'm going to try some of that delicious punch.
Almost.
Narrow C,
So
letting
close.
the team down.
Every time.
But-
all right. But yeah,
yeah.
like it just, the power struggle. And I don't know who thinks they won. I think both of them walked away thinking I came out on top of that. And I don't know if we could like have a clear winner.
So, this point in the show, we've had 2 matchings of wits.
Yes.
Which was the better fight? Roos and Microfinger or Marjorie Cersei?
Oh, that is.
I would say Marjorie and Cersei.
Sorry, I'm not listening. I'm trying to understand what people are talking
No,
about.
Marjorie
in the chat.
Cersei was more of just a smackdown because Marjorie just owned that one, which Cersei was not prepared for.
And then this one was a Raw.
But the difference is Marjorie and
It wasn't Thursday Night SmackDown. It was Monday Night Raw. I had.
oh no, I got the reference. That's why I was like,
Can
I
you
didn't catch
smell what Glen House dog is cooking? All right, go for it, Melissa.
the podcast that drinks and knows thing is brought to you by Dwayne the Rock Johnson this evening.
We are not officially affiliated with the World Wrestling
I think he might be a
Entertainment
guest.
Company,
Maybe
Yeah.
But
this
if
or next season.
Yet.
but if you know anyone that works there, please give them our phone number. We'd love to hear from them.
I think the Roos and Microfinger battle may have more practice with both of them. I think the Cersei and Marjorie battle actually has bigger ramifications because they're both the queen. And so I think their battle could impact more people
for the
than
realm.
There you go. Because it is the Game of Thrones. It's not the game of who's going to control the moat.
Coat Malin.
Moat.
Coat Malin.
Abby's getting just about right.
Abby's mailing
I'm just
coats.
about to know.
Sign up for Patreon. Abby will mail you a coat.
This is not true. Do
I
not
don't-
sign up for
I
coat.
don't need a coat. You can have all my coats. It's fine.
But if you have
Everybody's
Hawaiian
wearing
shirts,
the
I will
coats.
take that. You can mail Hawaiian.
A Hawaiian coat.
Abby, do you have any other thoughts on this scene here?
Dude,
No.
No. Yeah, you're a little.
Anything.
You're drunk.
Abby,
You're
really
drunk.
drunk. I just-
coats
I
there
know.
is Hawaiian.
Listen.
Right. That would be
I'm trying.
amazing.
So I think that kind of wraps up this first half of our episode.
Winter's
Benj,
coming.
sorry, I was
Right.
looking through the notes. I
Winter's
apologize.
coming.
Benj,
Yeah, I need
there's
some
a lot
fucking
going on here in
Hawaiian
studio. I'm trying
Hawaiian
here.
coats.
I know. Mine really wasn't that big. It was just Roos is not showing. He doesn't trust Microfinger, which is kind of one of the first times we've seen that. Aside from like Varys doesn't trust him. Microfinger is able to tickle his way into everybody else's consciousness and make them trust him. But Roos like, yeah, I read this letter. Great, yeah, because I have to know what's coming in, and I want to see the letter going out.
Right.
It's the smart move. Roos is a very pragmatic leader.
Yeah, he's like, hey, we're literally talking about how am I supposed to trust you right now? We're getting into this thing where you've just been given Harrenhal and like all these cool things that the crown has done for you. Why would you go against them? And then now you're getting a letter from Cersei right now. Like, how am I supposed to?
What's the scoop?
What is the scoop?
I do have something on
at these
this.
digs?
I'm confused, and it
Scoop
might
the
be
digs.
have been put in. How did a letter for him end up there? I don't.
That was a kind of a good question. Like,
Because they went to the Vale and a rider went to Mokalan.
is that what it was?
Oh.
Is
Yeah,
that what they
because
said earlier?
they didn't really know where
Yes.
he was. They just kind of figured he'd be in the Vale.
They sent it to the.
And then
They-
so and so
Right.
from the Vale
Right.
was like, we're redirecting this to.
Pony Express.
wherever
And
the
when
fuck-
he hands it to
Okay.
Microfinger, Bruce is like,
What did it say again?
We don't know. We don't know. What
We
the
don't
note
know yet.
says.
Well, son of a bitch.
but Roos
we do know
knows.
that Bruce read the note because the seal was broken.
Right. So Roos knows, and he will also see the reply before it gets sent out.
Theoretically.
That's what we're supposed to get from it, at least.
Okay.
But
Whatever it is.
we're going to do a quick promo for Audible. So check out a newly released, as of, I think it was yesterday morning that it came out, Harry Potter, A History of Magic. And I'm like a little more than halfway through it. It's really, really good. It's basically, it follows through the New York, what was it called? I don't even see it written here. It should be.
AEIOU.
This is not a good.
Well, I had it ready. Either way, it goes through a lot of the historical background for how J.K. Rowling wrote the book series,
That's pretty
and
cool.
it is also narrated by
Hey, another
none other than Natalie Dormer. So
Oh,
I'll go ahead and
She would have
Nice.
been a perfect Harry Potter character.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's the girl.
have her in your. Oh, it's the girl from the show that we're watching.
The
But
naked
no,
girl.
is she in Walking Dead too?
No.
No.
She
looks
in
like,
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah.
And
Tudors.
Tutors.
The
She
Tudors.
looks like a lot like.
She's
girl
in the
that
last
was
two movies.
In the
What-
beginning
who is she?
of Walking Dead.
The last two movies,
Avox?
just the last one.
that
No,
her
she's
name?
not. No, she's not an Avox. She's like
I forget her name.
she goes with the people with the cameras. She's like a
Producer.
marketing
She
person.
sure likes her cameras.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just bought my copy of History of Magic on Audible.
Yeah.
It's really good. So it's cool. So she narrates it, but they also include interviews with Jim Dale and Stephen Fry and Jim Kay, who did the illustrated editions. A lot of really cool people are involved. I mean, it's kind of what I think audiobooks are probably going to start going towards. More voices involved for things like this. It's definitely worth checking out. And
shout out
Cressida.
Dog mentioned Natalie's the medic in Mass Effect Andromeda as well. Video games.
Gotcha. Didn't know that. But go ahead and check out thepodcast.com/we are Audible affiliates, which is, you can find that also at the support us page. Oh, click that wrong button. I will put this in the chat as the link to the Audible affiliate. You can sign up, get a free 30-day trial and one free book, and you can get Harry Potter History of Magic on Audible on us. We would appreciate it. They give us a nice little kickback, and it helps keep these lights on. And Glenn can keep drinking.
And keep his lights on.
I can drink in the dark.
Oh.
If you have to choose one.
I would need a candle.
You can help us get glow-in-the-dark mason jars.
Drink
Everybody.
by candlelight.
During the hurricane, guys, the news was reporting that we should not put candles in our home because they were too dangerous. That was we should buy batteries and flashlights. That candles were far too dangerous. I don't know. It was
Candles
too
were
much.
far too dangerous during the
hurricane.
hurricane.
Yeah, whatever. It's
Just to
beyond.
be clear.
We can move on. Let's Jojen trade. It was just something that I laughed at very hard.
Let's Jojen train.
Jojen! And we go to the wall on this Jojen train.
Very
Where-
quickly, I'm sure.
Jojen wall.
We go
Jojen
a
elevator.
rapid pace,
We
all
used the
aboard.
microfinger teleporter Jojen train. Teletrain.
Teletrain. The Jojen microfinger teletrain. And we have John, Stannis, Davos, and motherfucking Ollie.
The Jojen phone booth.
John refuses the king. Davos makes one more plea. Abby.
I'm sorry if I steal your stuff. The biggest thing I remember at this scene is Davos, very much in his camp. I really like him. And when he looks at John and just says, this is for the realms of men.
The harem.
All men. We're trying to protect all men, and I think that's something that John can really get behind. So Davos is just very impressive in many ways, but this is his most impressive for a person who was illiterate up till 2 seasons ago or what have you, a couple years. He's so intelligent. He knows how to read the person he's talking to and just, tug at that right heartstring. And he's not wrong. I don't feel like he's been wrong very much at all yet. So
Benj?
Your father. He was an honorable man. You're like your father. You're an honorable man. Well, I'll take that as high praise. I didn't mean to praise you. Honor got your father fucking killed. And Stannis, calling it out. Your honor's, honor doesn't mean shit if you don't do the right thing. I'm not saying, it is the right thing. It's
honor, you would be
it was
doing the
two
right
quick
thing.
picks back to back. Sorry. But Luke playing around with pictures.
Tennis.
But I mean, he's not wrong from his perspective of, I'm trying to give you everything you've ever wanted. John just nods along.
Yep.
Yeah. God damn it. But, it's one of those of, I see where John's come from. He's honorable and he's staying at the wall, wants to do what he needs to do, but it's just, Davos is giving you, maybe take the handout. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I really liked that line as well. I didn't mean to praise you, but I mean, John's only going to take that as praise. It's like he's literally grown up wanting to be Ned. I mean, Ned Stark's a pretty good character to kind of hang your hat on. He's got his faults. I think we could all agree on that.
I don't want your handout. I'm an adult.
I'll need your handouts, hot dog man. Melissa?
I feel like Davos's job is to go around going, what Stannis really meant to say is.
Yep.
How we meant to say it was.
Yeah, like, Stannis isn't wrong. He just lacks peopling skills. And so what he really means is this.
It's like, he's correct in essence. He's not the softest to...
The delivery is a
yeah.
little... So, like, that would be kind of a crappy job.
As I say, he's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely is. Glennie?
Yeah, so like we see Stannis like doing his best to guide Jon like a certain way, and then Jon like the whole time is just like not doing anything that he says really. But Stannis has kind of given him the empowerment to make his own choices, and I think it really speaks to Jon's maturity, like something that we don't really see with Sansa like at all. But Jon, like, it just seemed like he's a lot more mature now, kind of making his own. He's kind of the man in charge, doing his thing or whatever. So I think it's good for him.
Yeah, I agree. He's developed a lot. Jon will agree as well. He's had, like we've talked about it, he's had a lot of really good mentors, specifically trying to train him in this kind of role, where Sansa's just been left with in the lion's den, right?
I mean, Stannis has given him some good stuff, good ideas, and like he could easily just jump on Jojen trains left and right about this kind of stuff, and he's talking about things with like Alistair Thorne and stuff like that, and this or that or whatever. And then Jon is like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to deny you here. I can't do that. I'll think about that. Like he's not just like jumping right in and being like, yeah, let's go, Stan. Like me and you,
right? Which I'm sure his heart is telling him to do that. Because he's offering him a pretty nice silver platter of exactly what he's always wanted, and yeah, he's doing the honorable thing if not going for it. And so he is, Stannis is also, like you were just saying, it's like, hey, if you send Alistair Thorne away, it's probably going to be good for you in the long run. And Jon was like, I heard you should keep your enemies close. And Stannis is like, whoever said that didn't have many enemies. It's probably pretty true. Any other final thoughts on this scene here? No. All right. Then we kind of go to...
Actually...
Okay,
No.
Hear Glenn. But we go to Jon, Sam, Thorne, Slynt, Stannis, and Night's Watchman. Jon sets plans to improve the castle. Thorne is named First Ranger. Slynt refuses an order and loses about 12 pounds.
The only thing I remember of this scene is Glenn's line, I will not steal it. I will not do it to him today.
All right, then Glenn, go ahead and do it before anyone else steals.
So let's read my thing. Okay. Like as much as Thorne has given Jon shit in the past, and the way they filmed it, it just seemed like the way it was going was like a Jon v. Thorne. And Jon's talking about building the latrine, and we need a latrine builder or whatever. And it just seems like, the next thing out of his mouth is, Alistair Thorne, you get to fucking do that. But then, Jon kind of changes course and gives it to the Ginger. But, Gingers need jobs too. And sure enough, you have Brian. I think that was his name, Brian.
Yep, it was.
Brian was there.
Good job for a Ginger.
Brian,
and then
it's a good job for a Ginger. Why don't you?
Jon gives these other things to other people. I think, towards the end, like you see Jon just kind of leads by example, especially with Slynt. And I know, I'm sure everyone, other people have notes about that, but you can just definitely see him leading by example with what he does to him.
And he follows through on what he says. He doesn't make idle commands or threats. He follows through, and that's pretty key to being the type of leader that I think he's been groomed to be.
And if you don't do that, then you're going to look weak and kind of
absolutely.
Like a douche.
And I think he also does a pretty good move at rewarding Thorne for his merits. And he says, there's no ranger out there with more experience than you do. And
get off my fucking back.
Like, hey, if I throw you this fucking bone, can we just get over our differences here? Like he's trying to kind of make amends, because he also knows that Thorne probably is the best option here. He got the second most votes.
At the same time, you don't see Donald Trump giving Hillary Clinton a job.
Right. We're not going to talk about that.
You might see.
But back in the
Ross
day,
Perot
in
get
the
a job.
Charlie country, the guy who came in second became vice president.
That's how, I lost his name. The dude who shot Alexander Hamilton.
Burr.
That's how Aaron Burr became vice president to
Now we
Thomas
have
Jefferson.
like Ben Carson as, what is he, Secretary
Something.
of Health, and he was
HUD.
or education, not education,
HUD.
HUD. Housing
whatever,
and
sure.
Urban Development.
Anyways, he was an opponent of Trump in primaries. Not that it's literally not a political debate, but it still happens a little bit, I guess.
Yep.
Not largest adversaries.
Right.
Bench.
So I'm going to do my notes backwards here. I love Slint's snivelingness here once he realizes, oh fuck, this is actually happening. I'm fucked. You know, he's trying to be all a band bold, take your fucking ruin and shove it. And I love how Thorne just sidesteps every he comes around. Thorne just kind of, you're your own bitch. You know, I can't defend
He
you.
caught him off guard because he thought,
Stranger now.
Thorne's in the way. Thorne will protect me. And then,
Upper stranger.
nope.
And step aside.
But yeah, step aside. And they take him out. And Slint's like, "No, well, fuck you. You're not gonna do anything." And then he realizes, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die," and starts sniveling. "I'm sorry. I'll do it. Please, please. I'm scared." All this and all that. Now, my one little rant for this section. Same thing I did with Only Cat.
Hey, I'm
Only Your Sister.
100% with you on this one.
Ollie, get my sword. Fuck you. It's Ed. Fetch a block.
Fetch
I'm
me
sorry.
a block.
Fetch me a block. It's a simple fucking line. Just give us this. Come on.
It could even be Ollie, fetch me a block. Fine.
Yes.
Like, that's fine. If you want this little kid to be something,
Yes.
use Ed, though. Ed's a great character. I love Ed.
Same here. It's a simple thing. And I know what they were trying to make it their own, so it's their own thing, so it doesn't get... Just fucking use what the readers want. You know, there's a few lines in the show, or in the books, that are iconic. This is one of them.
I agree.
And so it just, whenever I watch this episode, it's like, fuck you.
And I'm going to go to
So,
Melissa on this because I think that kind of goes right into what you're having here.
Well,
Maybe
first
not
of all,
directly. But.
I just want to say, in general, like, I'm all about soapbox of movies. Use the material that's given to you from if you're adapting a book.
The author's probably better than you.
Holy crap! Right?
Just accept that.
But my big takeaway from this particular scene, we have seen power struggles this whole episode. It's been fantastic. This power struggle between Slint and John. John, who actively doesn't engage in it. He doesn't respond to Slint. He doesn't talk to him. He says, "So are you refusing my order?"
You mistake me, my lord. That wasn't a request. That's a command.
You're right.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's very much, so you're choosing not to follow my direction, which is a line I say often in my daily work.
So you were deliberately disobeying me.
Pretty much.
Every day.
And so,
Got to bring Lion King back again.
so at the end,
Shithole over there.
it came down to John had to have the power. He had to follow through because that's what you do with kids who don't listen, right? You have to follow through. And much like you guys said on your episode last week, when it came to Danny, she just didn't quite use her power in the right way. Like, she followed through, but it didn't quite work.
The hesitation.
There was just a little
belittles
bit
her.
too much,
Hesitation.
hate to say it, girl feelings involved
Wishy,
with her.
like,
Yes.
there wasn't
She wasn't
no
sure what to do.
fitting.
John
Like,
never wavered. He gave an option. He double checked. He gave one more out.
and everybody saw it coming. Like,
Yeah. And once the decision was made, there was, even at the end, I'm sorry, and the
mercy,
apology. It was like, nope.
It's
And
too late.
man, talk about like a throwback to the very first episode with Ned Stark. And, a man always follows through on his own things. John went and did it himself. It wasn't, he didn't order somebody else to do it, because if you're going to take a man's head off, you're going to do it yourself.
Yep.
Right?
The biggest thing that I thought of this is that look afterwards. So he, not that he hesitates, but he does take a pause when he says mercy. And you can see, I feel like he's working through it in his mind, like, fuck you, why'd you just do that to me? Because I still have to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Swings, he's dead. And I feel like I can just see the weight. Like, Kit Harington does a really good job of him just shouldering the weight of not this decision that was like hard to make, but like, fuck, this is my life now. Like, I have these big, tough decisions to make, and this sucks. I didn't ask for it. But
Right.
now it's been handed to me, and now I have to do it. And not regret, but almost just that, like, fuck, why'd you people elect me? Like, you know.
Well, it's the weight of leadership.
Yeah.
He is the kind of leader that didn't want to be leader, but guess what? Now that he's here, he's gonna do a fucking good job, the best job that he can, because he doesn't have a stake in it. You know, he's got filet mignons and things like that, but you know, he didn't choose to come into this role. He's been thrust into it, and he just has to make do.
And he's also the kind of guy that if he's going to do it, he's going to do it right. Not right because everybody else has done it this way, but right because he has a moral compass and he's going to follow his own moral compass. And this is what his moral compass told him to do, because for the good of the group, everybody has to know I'm the boss.
Well, that's how everything should be.
And let's be honest, Janos Slynn has been an ass.
That's how everything should be.
Since
He
season
should
1.
have been beheaded the minute that he was found in that fucking
In the
pantry
pantry.
with Gilly. I'm
With
sorry.
the women and children.
That is a deserter. He was a deserter, and he should have been beheaded immediately. I don't
disagree.
understand.
Tyrion should have beheaded him down in fucking King's Landing.
I was gonna say, whoa, we're gonna have issue, but okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But
Tyrion should
like, I
come up to
don't
the wall
understand
and
why
behead him.
he was still
Tyrion
alive.
should stay the night in the pantry.
I also said that Jon Snow, a friend of mine just texted me who was listening and says, Jon's also carrying the weight of the huge cape.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's a really big IKEA rug.
I did have one other
the straps.
note about this or question about this scene. Luke, if you go one more picture, or a few more, to there. Is this the first straight up beheading shot? Because usually they cut away. The reason I'm asking, I can't think of, I know opening scene with the dire wolves right before, you get the cut off and the head roll, but you don't get like this close up. And Ned, I know they cut away before the sword went through.
Right,
And I can't remember Rob.
Like the nearly headless Nick.
Right, with Karstark.
Really
I don't
headless.
remember Theon's with
They just show Theon. They don't show the body. They just show him.
right
hacking.
with Cassell.
All right, we'll put
Rob, I
Jon
think, goes
Stark
for the
on
back.
the list of people
Like-
I'll allow to behead me.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, Theon is definitely not on it. He sucked.
I was gonna
Jon-
ask you how'd you think he did on his slice and dice
You know,
compared to
there
Theon?
was
Slicing and
one
dicing.
moment of like a then gone, but the slice was good. It was nice.
I mean, some of these good ones are
He is
they are
Valyrian.
Valyrian
Damn it.
swords,
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say, so Ice and this one were Valyrian steel. Rob did do his with a non-Valyrian steel sword, so his was pretty.
Rob's good.
Rob's was a good one. Ned's was his own sword, so that doesn't count. And then Theon was just using a blunt
Why
fucking.
doesn't it count?
Apparently.
Why does it even count?
No,
Because
why doesn't it count? I mean, it still counts.
It still
try
counts.
to do it.
Well, he was saying that Valyrian steel is going to cut through somebody much easier than.
Than his own.
So Rob to
Non-Valyrian.
Some
Theon.
shit
So you need
sword.
to get a better. You need to go to a sports store to get a better sword. Oh wait a minute.
Go to no, you can't go to Dick's.
Academy.
gotta go to Dick's
Okay, yeah.
or Academy. Sports.
Academy.
It's somewhere
but
that,
no, so I
that
think this
sells
is the
actual
first-
good steel
Point is,
swords.
I think
that'll
this is
cut
the
someone's
first
head off.
Play it again,
beheading
swords.
shot that
Play
we
it
got.
again,
Yeah.
swords.
I think you might be right, Benj. And
Play it again.
Play it again, swords.
play it again.
We've been doing screen caps for a while, so I could go back and
Yeah, it'd be easier to
review,
find it.
But
But
yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
we are going to take a Jojen jet train and fly on over to Volantis, where we have
Seatbelts, the exterior doors are
keep your
faced
hands
up
and
here.
legs and
They had to
minds
cross.
inside
They had
the
to
plane
cross.
at all times.
We're crossing the narrow sea.
Everywhere. Your seats will turn.
It's
into
going to take a
formation
long ass
if
time
we
because
need
you
it.
can't just cross it.
If
Let's check the
we
map.
become under
Where's it at?
anything where the oxygen max deploy,
Make sure you
please
put it on yourself first.
and then
Fuck
pick-
the women and children
No.
around you, is what they
If
say.
you-
Don't worry about the old people and kids with you.
Pick, put it on your child second. If you have 2 children with you, put it on your favorite child
Choose
first.
your favorite one first.
And you know how to choose your favorite child, don't you?
The one's not screaming.
The one that's least annoying. Just ask my kids, they'll tell you.
I would say that.
But
They know.
while we're going to Volantis, we see Tyrion, Varys, more Hooers, and Jorah. This is, as every episode, our final scene. We have one of these every episode. Final
What?
scene.
Oh, I'm out. I got water now. So sad.
Boring. And we have Tyrion and Varys stop off to stretch their legs. They find a red priestess, speaking of the Dragon Queen. In a brothel, Tyrion is stunned to feel like a real half-man and is swept off his feet by a leggy blonde.
You're welcome.
Or a hairy blonde as well. A bear, there was a bear.
Crying.
So I'll go ahead and kick this one off.
glasses.
I love the way this scene opens up. We have, if I actually go to the pictures, well, I guess not even the opening of it, but when we get here, Matthew, this is the bridge that we were talking about earlier.
It looks like the
The
East
city
Bridge.
of Atlantis or the Bridge of
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first
Yes.
bridge across the Mississippi River.
That's the East Bridge, and built in 1874.
Was
That
that
Harry
on the
Houdini
Arch
jumped
tour?
off of.
That was on my riverboat tour today.
I knew
Houdini
it.
survived
She knows her stuff.
So I'm going to talk about the Valentine Bridge
Sorry.
because like they really do some really good world building in this kind of sequence here. They show the bridge,
That
they
was
show
cool.
And
the slave trade, or go ahead.
is that across the Tigris or the Euphrates?
I believe it's across the Mother Rhine.
The groin
So
river.
neither. Okay.
It,
All right.
yeah, I
keep
think
going.
I think it's not either the Tigris and or Euphrates.
Say the mother groin.
The Mother Groin.
No, Mother Groin. Oh God. No, but we see the Valentine Bridge. We see some slave trade. We see they talk about the different tattoos that the slaves wear in Volantis. We see the red priests, and they talk about stone men. I really liked that they kind of worked some of this in like a kind of an in-between passing scene that they're not going to sit here and give us a bunch of exposition on these things, but they fit it in as little Easter eggs for the book readers that normally I think they skip those kinds of
That
things.
bitch about the show.
And I know I'm probably one of the few that actually really love that stuff. So, not one of the few, but we're out there.
The few of the proud.
The stone men.
I enjoy it.
See, I get that.
All right, Abby, thoughts on... There's a whole lot going here. I know you didn't actually get to see some of this.
So I'm really excited to actually get to watch this. But from what I hear, Jorah, who I used to describe as, my man Jorah,
The
now he's
Explorer?
not so much.
Sure, the Explorer.
You just see.
Did you know
That's
that?
the reference we
He
made.
listens.
He
Oh.
listens.
He doesn't listen.
He doesn't.
He doesn't know what a podcast is.
Yeah,
He just
I
shows
hear
up.
Dora, I hear
No,
hear
it's- but-
Explorer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Jorah. Anyways, it's okay. I was there too. It'll be all right. Just drink and you'll get
This
to
is
know.
how you know you guys were right.
But
Bam!
I hear
you're
he
right.
steals Tyrion. I feel like I didn't actually
You
watch
can
the
kind of
last-
watch it right now.
It's
But I
almost
feel like
it's
he's
almost
got
like he
him
had
in
to
like
be
a
there and
potato
watch it.
sack. Like he just
Gag around the mouth,
perfect.
and then that's where it ends.
Oh,
But then
man.
he ties around him.
Oh
I
my
feel
God.
like if
I
they
didn't
could have
get to
just
live.
He's
talked
trying to
this
take a
out,
leak.
it could have changed. Because they're both decent guys, right?
Well, Tyrion's
Truth.
taking a leak.
Ah, man.
And you
Jorah-
got gag while he was taking a leak there?
He's
He
taking
let
a
him
leak,
finish. He did let him finish and
Jorah's
pull up.
but he didn't wash his hands.
He did not get to wash his hands.
I don't care about that.
Would he have
but
washed
at
his
least
hands
let him
anyway?
finish.
Come on, let's be honest.
No.
Not even
Well, I don't think they had like the hand wash
Sanitization.
stations.
Yeah.
No hands
And the
sanitizer
blow
Even
dryers.
available.
They probably
Yeah.
weren't present. They
They probably had
weren't
those really cool hand dryers that you put your hands down into. it's like a
But it's
Hoover
so
vacuum or
loud.
not
I'm sure they
Dyson.
had that. Or
My
like
kids want to cover their ears, but it's like you can't cover your ears. You
Your
have to
hands
use
are
your
soaking
hands.
wet.
Yeah.
Perfect.
or like the ones
Ear
where you
infections.
just hold your
Great.
hands in.
Swimmer's ear
The
all
soap
the time.
drops down, and then the water drops down, and then
That's
the
like
blow
at the
dryer.
rest stops off
Yeah.
the highway.
That's
Exactly,
Those are
that's
those.
exactly where it's.
Or
from.
it's like one of those air dryers that's really underpowered. It's just like an old person
Wow.
breathing on
So
your hand.
You end up wiping your hands on your pants.
I always do it. I'm just like, you know what? I don't have time for hand
It's
dryers.
like-
They're so fucking loud. Ready to
I don't
go.
have an hour to spend.
Melissa, what do you got here?
Someone who they noticed the priest talking about Danny,
Oh, I thought we were talking about hand
which
dryers.
let me just be excited about the fact that we didn't actually see Marine Danny. Like that makes me happy. But I like the line of someone who inspires priests and whores should be taken seriously. That was really funny to me because if you can get both ends of the spectrum to agree on the same thing, put those hands together.
Hands across the narrow sea.
Hands across the narrow sea. Okay, done.
Glennie.
Yeah, so this whore that Tyrion ends up talking to, like she just doesn't seem like the typical whore.
She's a smart whore.
Yes.
A
met-
skeptical whore,
we've
actually,
met
is
one
what
of
she's
those
Well,
describing.
she's
before.
like
Her name was Roz. I don't know what she looks like, or
the,
I tell
the
you.
thing I
She's
have
got really
I do know what she
the thing I have is like Tyrion approaches
A real
her
good personality.
and starts talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, you want to be with her?" And it's like, no, he came up to you you're a whore. Usually, you're gonna try to get money, and it just like didn't seem that way.
She doesn't seem like a very successful whore.
Right.
Well, so he walks up to her, and she like instantly knows he's got nothing to offer money wise. So like that's kind of where they start. Ben,
How does she know that though?
just looking at him, they
Looking
kind
at him,
of
you judge a book by its cover.
They literally talk about that.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it
Glenn
goes
and I
into,
didn't watch this
it's
last
like I was
5
once one of the
No, I
richest
didn't.
men in the world, or in the continent, and all this, and I always pay my debts, and I always do this. And he was playing it up very gallantly, to her, trying to make her feel like you're more than just a whore. I want to fuck you, yeah, but you're more than just a whore. You're a smart whore. You're not just a funny whore.
A funny high.
Funny, ah.
She's got huge
Tracts of land. That's what I was going with.
Yeah. So
I just want to
sing.
she's got massive arthritis. But so my note to this was this consolidation. I bitched about the whiting out the grayness of Tyrion's character from books to show in past scenes. This one I'm okay with. Because had they done what was book-wise, I wouldn't be able to stomach it. And I get where they were going with it. He goes the worst of the worst. I liked how they had him treating her, even though, yeah, she's a whore, and he's kind of pissed at whores. He still wants to know where they go. But,
No, he doesn't.
Like,
not in the show, he doesn't.
not in the show. Yeah, I know. I'm just
I know.
trying to make it.
I know. I'm being semantic.
So it's but it's still funny that he would pick the smart whore, the one that would talk back to him, compared to, the dumb queen who everybody wants, but she doesn't seem that bright. He finds the one he can pick her out of. This is the one I can have a conversation with. And he's shocked at his own self, of like Melissa said, like, oh, I want to, but I really can't. He's like,
Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone.
And so that goes to my note of, he finds out, feel like what a real half man is. It's like, okay, then that just is new. I have no idea. So, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, so there's also a portion in here where they're talking about the whore queen. Clearly looks
I had
kind
to
of
be
like
very careful on this shot.
clearly looks kind of like Danny,
You can see a butt.
and we see
It's
Jorah,
blurred out.
There's a cheek.
There's a cheek.
blurry cheeks. That's fine. But we see Jorah as you watch this, he's kind of got his eye on her a bit,
Next
and
best thing.
kind of pining for what he's lost a bit.
Really?
See, now, my question, okay, I'm putting it out there. Who thinks he's already had it at this point?
Not me.
Danny?
I haven't seen
No,
it.
no,
Not me.
the queen whore.
Oh, the queen whore. Okay.
Hey, show of hands.
He
just-
looks way too depressed
That he's
to
had
have
it?
I have
hit
no
that.
idea what I'm voting for. But
I think that's
Why the hell not?
Impressed. He got the doppelganger. He's not satisfied.
Well, that sucks already.
Yeah, Jorah sucks.
Yeah, basically.
He's
He's no Joffrey or anything.
obviously. I don't,
You're
think,
learning.
I don't think we
but
do, but do we know how
He's
much
an
time has
Eeyore.
passed?
We do not really know how much time has passed since he's been exiled.
Because he could have been there like a couple months. Just go there every night. And,
He could just be out there getting Munsoned.
yeah, he's getting months in the middle of nowhere.
Make his left hand look like his right hand.
Oh, Jefferson's on ice. I love Sherman Helmsley.
Bye, Mr. Munson. Bye, whore.
All right, do we have any other thoughts on this scene? Did I get to everybody? Abby, do you have any newly formed thoughts as we've gone through it?
Nope.
All right.
Beer hog, any thoughts?
Beer Hog, any thoughts?
I was agreed.
Okay.
He agrees.
Hands up over
You can only
there.
agree if you put an arrow with a tack, and then say agreed.
I do
On our
completely
workbook.
disagree with that. So thumbs down on that sentiment.
All right, so that pretty much does it for the normal episode, but
Woo!
let's talk about the episode title accuracy. High Sparrow. Thoughts on High Sparrow as the title?
Yeah,
It's just a new character.
And
Yeah.
one
Again, they picked one scene.
Can
One
a
scene,
One thing.
one location.
Yeah, it's been pretty
High?
consistent for season 5, hasn't it? It's,
I'm okay with it.
A
Like,
Spiro.
Well, I just have one question. Can a sparrow fly that high?
It can fly just as high if you read a book.
it can fly as high as an elephant's eye.
I think that Sparrow does drugs.
Isn't that Dumbo?
So that's why
That's
God
Oklahoma.
damn.
he's so
Oh, it
high.
is.
That's corn.
Gotcha. There are crows in Dumbo that I was also thinking of.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
But
So, no. So, I'm going with no.
We went from reading Rainbow to Oklahoma to Dumbo just to catch you up.
I know all those things though, so I feel really awesome.
talk about South Park so she gets lost again.
That's actually going to be my final thought. It'll be all right though.
All right,
Just wait
description
for it.
accuracy. In Bravos, Arya sees the many-faced god. She
No,
sees many
she saw
faces of gods.
Faces of many gods.
But-
It just
Well,
semantics,
she
but-
also does see a dead body or
Okay.
a couple.
but-
So I think that may be what they're talking
Here,
about.
does she know what she's seeing, though?
I'm going to go with no.
She knows she sees a dead body. She knows that they keep saying that we pray to the god of death. That's all she knows. I don't know. I don't know if she's making that
I don't know.
connection or not.
I think she thinks she knows what she's seeing one way, but I think everyone else is kind of like, no, it's another way.
It's like entirely different than the way you're looking at it. You're just
You're
looking at
not-
it as like learning tools
Yeah.
that to kill people. That's not really what we're offering.
We're about cleaning, people that die and sweeping floors and stuff like that.
And offering
Really
mercy.
clean floors.
So then we
Not
also
handing anybody anything.
have in
No
King's
handouts.
Landing, Queen Marjorie enjoys her new husband.
I think
I'd
I
say
think
she-
he enjoyed her more than
I-
she did him.
I feel
but-
like
That's what
he
I was gonna
enjoys
say.
the
Yeah,
position that she's in through the husband pretty well.
I think I agree with all of you.
Yeah.
He enjoyed her a lot. Like
A record-setting amount.
records, yes.
he was the sweetest Minuteman in history.
Aw.
60-minute man.
But I also think she's really enjoying that she finally, first of all, made it through a wedding with a husband.
He's the best husband she's had. And she's had 3 well, at this point.
But they all died.
Well, not
that's
this
what,
one.
That's what I got.
Not
Two
this
of
one.
them.
That's
The-
what you guys told
Yeah.
me. All
Yep.
of them died. So,
except the
Widow.
new one. The
Except
new
the
one's
new
good.
right.
And she can get him
Third
to
time's
do
a
what she
charm.
For
wants.
her, right.
Here we go.
And now she's the queen that she wants to be. So hell yeah.
And then we also have Tyrion and Varys walk the long bridge of Volantis.
It wasn't that long.
I agree.
As long as I thought it was going to be when I saw the picture.
Because that depends on how you deal with the shrubbery around it.
Oh, well, what kind of shrubbery are we talking about? A
Side
nice
note,
one.
I just dropped a box of
Not too
dog
big.
treats on my head
Not
like
too
another
big.
beat.
Well, it looks pretty nice, but it's not too neat.
We're no longer the knights that say neat.
We're now the knights who say icky kabang.
It's only a
I get
flesh
that, but they have
wound.
an other.
I got your arm off.
It's a holy hand grenade. You should count to 3, no more, no less.
5 is right out.
It is the rabbit.
All right,
And
let's
down
get
the rabbit hole we've gone.
to our least favorite thing. I see Glenn has one written down and Melissa has one written down. Let's start with
I
Glenn.
do have one, I just have it hidden.
Oh, we could hide them.
He always
I don't want
hides
anyone to know what my least favorite thing is until.
Until
Anyways,
time to
I
put it
think
out
my
there.
least favorite thing is Sansa in the North sands her new digs.
Sans. So the new digs,
I didn't like the whole Sansa thing, but I did like the digs.
big fan of the digs.
So everything but the digs.
I like that now she's there. Maybe she'll just kill them all. Like that. That's cool. I don't like that she's there.
I just hope she enjoys the digs for a little bit.
I hope she enjoys nothing else. That's not what it is.
Just stay in your digs all
That's
day.
not what I meant by it.
Yeah, don't take the digs off.
All right, Benj, unhide yours.
Still looking
Unsheath your least favorite thing.
Mine was Sansa being brought to the moat. I fucking couldn't stand it.
It's a
Just-
boat. It's awesome.
Now, the digs, fine, fair enough. They're
Fair enough.
acceptable.
Fair enough for the digs. Okay.
But the actual being brought and sold, yeah, no.
Yeah, you can't hate on the digs.
She's got a fucking moat. You can't hate the digs.
Plenty of digs. Melissa.
Marjorie and Tommen, it's just creepy. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I like that he's finally being controlled by someone less evil than Cersei, but just no, I can't. I can't do a little kid and a woman in her 20s. Nope. Way too inappropriate for my workplace. Thank you.
I just chalk it up to it's Game of Thrones. I've thrown a lot of
14 is the new 40.
This
14
is
is
true. And most of the time I'm okay, but like this one's, it's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
As Abby says, 14 is the new 40.
Abby does not say that.
Quoted many times.
Quoted.
Well, as the person in the room closest to 40, no, it's not.
Abby, what was your
I
least favorite
have-
thing?
I didn't pick one this time, guys.
Hmm?
I didn't pick one. I'm good.
I think my least favorite thing is the lack of fetch me a block.
Yeah.
That's it's just say the fucking line right. Like it's written for you.
Yeah.
Just do the line. Like why change it?
I
say the line.
decided I do have a least favorite thing.
Okay,
Because I had to go all the way back. I'm going to go with Arya and just the whole faceless man thing. It's not that I dislike it or I'm not interested in it. I'm really interested in it because it's Arya and I love her and this is very interesting. I just hate that I feel confused. She feels confused. Like we're season 5 now. I'm supposed to like have some shit figured out and this is another thing that I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
You know nothing, Arya Stark.
I know nothing. And not that it's least favorite by design is how we like to say it around here.
Mm-hmm. And so, along with that, since you are literally Arya and I am pretty much Bran,
you're Luke.
I hate that we haven't seen Bran this season. I'll just say that. Let's get to our favorite things. We'll go reverse order. Abby.
I like the High Sparrow's name.
King Turtle or Lord Duckling?
Lord Duckling, I think. That's the better one. That's what I would go with, for sure.
Or what a Queen Swan.
But he wears a crown.
My favorite thing, I think, was the seeing the Valentine Bridge. I liked seeing it. I thought it looked good. And
it wasn't that long.
It wasn't as long as you might think, but we're only looking at it from halfway up the bridge, potentially.
That's only
this could just be the end.
It's only like 1/21st of the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, minimum, right? I mean,
that's just a little chunk.
I just thought it was pretty good world building that the show has done here, and I liked it. And then it went to Melissa, I believe.
Power, 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 power. All the power plays. All over the place. And of all the power plays, Jon Snow wins. His power play is the best power play of all the power plays, which were awesome.
Slicing and dicing.
Now it's time for an Amber and Yui power play. All right. Benj.
So mine goes against Melissa's least favorite thing. I loved the Marjorie Tommen stuff, her manipulating him, like playing that game up, but also her power struggle against Cersei and making her back down. You know, I loved her outright smugness and just I won kind of mentality that she had without even being mean. She was a sweetheart the whole time. She never once said a mean thing.
Like,
but
right, and I think Cersei couldn't really do a whole lot. Like,
yeah, there was
she was just
nothing
kind of
Cersei
like,
could do, and I loved it.
I can't do anything right now.
Yeah, that whole
Marjorie
opening
was kind of just like
King's Landing. It was
I
great.
won't back down. I will stand my ground.
Luke, you have the power to mute. You do.
I can also hit her when she's in the room.
I feel like you haven't used that power nearly enough tonight.
For me?
I'm talking to Luke.
Should I just mute everyone? We'll just have a mode of silence.
No, I'm saying you should get to hit her more. Take advantage, man. I'm backing you up.
She's been fine.
Today.
I have said less today and been less drunk than I have for the last season.
It's been a while. She's following Tyrion here of just, is there more wine? Why is the wine always gone?
Right. And like that part where he has that ball and then he has that chain.
To bang, to bang, to bang.
Which one's Glenn?
The diggy diggy.
Glenn, what was your favorite thing this episode?
So I liked basically Jon being a boss because he is a boss. No, I like it.
Absolutely.
I admire his like maturity, and you could see it in him more than a lot of other characters where he's kind of came of age a little bit and, you know, kind of got elected to this big position, and now he's doing things and like being a good leader.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's thumbs up choices is what Jon Snow is making. Thumbs up choices.
I like that he promotes Thorne too.
Yeah,
I just think that is such a classy move.
it helped him in that next portion because if he didn't do that, he might not step aside when he goes over to get Slint,
More
right?
bees with honey than vinegar.
Right.
And it's not the wrong call. Instead of being bitter and giving one of those big, I'm in power. Let me show you my power plays.
Right.
Which is kind of what Stannis was recommending. Which
There's
There's a difference between
Carry a
being a
big
boss
stick.
and being a leader.
And we didn't even mention the Stannis head nod.
I
After
loved,
that.
yeah.
You know, when he just looked over and just
Love it.
all right, so we have other podcasts at thepodcastthat.com, including the podcast that floats down here. Melissa, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about that since you're actually here on this show.
I am. Podcast that floats down here is a Stephen King It Reread by me and Benji, and a first time read by Luke, where we go chapter by chapter or sometimes section by section, because you have read Stephen King. Sometimes those chapters are long. They're very long, so we take just a piece of it. And we talk about the creepiness and the all kinds of different details in there. It comes out every other week. We just had an episode release today, I believe.
And the ones who do know the show or do know the book, it was the section of Beverly going back to her house.
Yeah.
Abby recognizes.
She's all caught up too.
Excellent.
Which means
for our Patreon listeners, we are going to be doing a
noobs
episode. It noobs.
Just a bunch of noobs.
Where Luke and Abby and Bailey from Hogwarts Radio fame are going to be talking about what they think about it so far. This is a Patreon exclusive for our Floats Down Here listeners. So if you want to get that episode, jump on over to thepodcastthat.com/support us and join our Patreon account, because I'm tempted to crash their show for this. I'm so excited just to listen to it.
No bets allowed.
We could potentially live stream it.
I know. See, this would be exciting. So join our Patreon, listen to our noobs, check us out every other week.
Listen to our noobs.
That's right.
Listen to the hometown noobs.
Damn noobs.
That sounds like something that would be in Derry.
And I strongly recommend that you listen to us on Radio Public, because if you listen to us on Radio Public, I just listened to it this morning and we are members of their paid listen. So every time you listen, we get a little kickback. You listen for free. We get some money to help us promote our show and keep all of this going and apparently bring you great content. But, I don't know when that happens, but it does. And we appreciate everything you do. So I'm very excited.
I think that's cool.
Second on the list.
I just finished
After
my first Stephen King novel.
What'd you read? You read Misery.
I did.
Some book. Don't worry about it.
I just watched the movie for the first time.
Glenn's
Misery.
suggestion to San Rixie
Misery.
It
for the
was
Jojen
awesome.
train.
The book is way better, but
Yeah,
everybody
we
always
need
says
the
that about every book. But
hometown
I watched the
news of
movie right
Derry.
after I read it, and I thought that they did a great job of mashing everything together to make a great movie.
Good.
on
Good.
the book.
Misery's one of those I'm going to go read.
All right.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we might get to Misery in our
Well,
Floats
I'm
Down Here
saying Stephen
podcast.
King,
Can I say something real quick? Or
Glenn can say something real quick.
Has anybody seen that video of that lady that she kind of looks like the character that Kathy Bates plays or whatever? And she goes to like a bookstore and is like, "Do you have anything by Paul Sheldon?" And like the guy's like looking on the computer and like,
no way.
are you sure that's his name? And, like,
I have seen that video.
Really?
and she's just
that's
like
awesome.
bitching up a storm.
Oh
like,
my God.
you don't have anything by Paul Sheldon?
He's my favorite author. His new book just released.
and
It's
like-
called such and such and such.
This guy,
cock-a-doodie motherfucker.
yeah, this guy that works at like the Barnes and Noble is just like,
Oh,
We don't-
I don't know what to,
You don't have it. I don't know who you're talking about.
that-
He's my no.
I
You
need to
check
see
again.
that. I need to see that.
Yeah.
I need to.
But learn more at thepodcastthat.com. First time watcher on the wall predictions. You got 4 of them.
I only have 3.
You only have 3 of them. You got
So-
1 to grow on.
1 to grow on. Pinch to grow an inch. I'll use it for the inch. Arya never becomes a faceless man. She does not give up needle. Boom. Cersei and the High Sparrow. The High Sparrow, I think he's the real deal. He walks the walk
without shoes.
without shoes even. And, sometimes on gravel that hurts. I feel like Cersei aligning herself with him while she feels like, oh, this is so great. I'm an intelligent woman is another terrible. Cersei, you are not as smart as you think you are. Where's Tywin when you need him? Moment. Number 3. The best predictor of future success is past performance. Tommen, you're gone.
Wow.
You're gone. You're dying because she's had 2 dead husbands. This will be her 3rd.
That's her
Whoever
thing.
she marries next will die shortly also. So she's a walking
Time out.
Black Widow.
Well,
See ya. I love her though. She's my girl.
I'm going to ask you about another set of characters. Tyrion and Jorah.
Ooh.
So whenever Jorah grabs him, he says, "I'm taking you to the queen."
Yes.
Where are they going?
And
Well, to the queen.
and what's going to happen then?
Okay, so alright. The queen would be, is it to King's Landing or to Dany? To Jorah, it's Dany. Would be my guess. But that's kind of like exactly.
We know that Cersei is offering a lordship for Tyrion's head. We've seen how many dwarf heads?
Okay.
1.
Is it just one that we've seen?
So far, yeah.
And
But-
would Dany really want Tyrion?
Who doesn't want a Tyrion?
I mean, I would definitely want a Tyrion. He's one of the most intelligent. He is the most intelligent man, I think, in this whole thing. But I don't know if she has any interest
Or
if
knowledge
he's
of.
like
In a midget.
a commodity she would like to have her
We
home.
all have.
My gut
all
tells me
want to
he
be
takes her
Killing a
to
midget.
Dany, but I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
Angry elf.
It doesn't really make sense
He's an
because I
angry
don't know why that would like get him in with Dany. That would be the redemption. Sorry, I'm not really making a prediction.
No,
Just
that's-
thinking through it.
That's fair. Caught you off guard with that one on a scene that you didn't really see. So, all right.
Oh, did you see the last scene? Yeah, Tyrion and Jorah. Wait, what the? No.
All right. Well, Abby, let's roll right into your house stuff.
All right, I am Abby, aka Gertie of House Condescension. My words are "We don't quit." My sigil is a field of white with a raven sitting atop a black appointed chevron. My sword's name is Gunther. I live north of the wall. I prayed to the old gods, and my horse is actually named Odin. JJ the honey badger is my animal. She's short for Judge Judy, and she don't give a shit. I howl from the Gertie's gallows, and we read the nightly Raven. My famous ancestor is Casey Jones, and my
House fool.
house fool is no one, because we don't joke around. We kick ass.
Damn right.
You can find me on Twitter at my personal Twitter. That's not my at Go Home Gertie.
Final thought.
I really think I need to start watching South Park so I actually understand the show and all your references.
You're damn right. That's a good.
Yep.
Yep. And probably Home Alone again one time. I probably need to actually watch Home Alone in my adulthood.
You haven't watched Home Alone?
Not since I was like 5.
Oh.
Just watch it knowing that Mr. McAllister is definitely in the mob.
I just remember my grandpa
Right.
loved that fucking
Well,
movie and would put it on
How else has he
every
taken
time.
15 people?
What does he own the house?
Own
And-
a fucking 14-bedroom house, and
He orders about 20 pizzas.
Right?
Well, he's well off. Why question movie stuff? Don't question that.
It's a John Hughes film. It's
That's
perfect.
kind of what our whole podcast is based around, so that's really terrible advice.
Benj, tell us
Sorry.
about your house stuff.
all right, I'm Benji, aka Sly of House McLean. My house words are "It's dangerous to drink alone." My house sigil is 3 golden triangles on a field of red and black. My house sword is Konami because they make blades of steel. My house region is the Reach. My house religion, I pray to the gods of tits and wine. My horse's name is Peach because we ride her all night long. My animal is Ares the Phoenix. My ancestral home is the Tower of Hera. Watch out for Mordorn. Hometown newspaper is the Daily Sun. My famous ancestor is my great uncle John McLean, the savior of winter celebrations. And our house minstrel is Nickeldum, the singing mime. You can find me on Twitter at Slime McLean. And my final thought is, it was good. I liked most of the episodes, but there was one line that was like, fuck you.
Yep. Jon Snow agrees. Yep.
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 Glenny.
So I'm Glenn of House Dizog. My house words are "You miss 99% of the shots you don't take."
Gotta factor the tip in.
It could just hit you and go in. It
My my house sigil is a Spuds McKenzie with a Wayne Gretzky jersey, number 99 on. My horse has a sword, and its name is Johnny Utah. I am from the Vale. I pray to the new gods. My horse's name is Horse Meat. My animal is Rich the Flying Squirrel. Ancestral home, the castle at Beast Mountain. We subscribe to the Moondor Bee. My famous house ancestor is the Duff. And my house fool is Barube the Barf.
Barube. It takes no effort to defeat Barube.
Oh, I thought you said Booberry, like Booberry and
Booberry.
Chocolate.
Booberry.
Booberry the Barf.
My fool of the month, the Booberry.
And I am at Popsicle Stand. Final thought,
It's just one of those.
they're not going to hand it to you.
They're the House of Black and White. They're just not going to hand it to you.
Anybody. They're not going to hand it to you.
Yeah, I am Lucan of House Blackmead. House words are ours is the drink. Our sigil is an obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background. We carry around a Valyrian steel axe called Sweet Sting. We recently moved to the Stormlands. We still ship some mead up to the Crossroads Inn because we do supply their Crossroads Inn with all their mead needs. It's just they need less these days. We do, rep the old gods. I still ride around on a horse named Cherry. He's been pulling a chariot lately, too, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Cherry and the chariot.
For charity.
For charity. Cherry the chariot. For charity. I still walk with my familiar on my shoulder named Paris the Parrot. We hail from Black Cask Keep. Remember, we moved it down to the Stormlands with us. Oversized load, obviously. And we still subscribe to the Drowned Word. Our famous house ancestor's name is Ashmere Rivers. You'll learn more about him later. Our house fool, his name is Dingle. You can find him in Zelda Wind Waker.
Hingle.
I know. This
Hingle
is his cousin, Dingle.
Okay, I was going to say.
And you can find me on Twitter at Luca Ferocious or at No and Drink. Actually, more likely. But final thought, it's just kind of one of those third episodes of the season.
It's a number 3.
It says this one really took a number 3. I don't know. It was some good world building, fun stuff, Easter eggs for readers, but still kind of like, how do you fuck that one line up? Come on. Melissa.
I am Melissa of House Algorithm. My house words are have fun, storm in the castle. My house sigil is a golden Fibonacci square on a field of light gray. I come from Old Town.
Mm-hmm.
I pray to the faceless men, and my horse's name is Pythagoras.
Perfect. All right.
And you can find me at mcrowley522 on Twitter or at Not Named Podcast as well. And my final thought is thank you for letting me join in on the musical episode this evening.
All right, we're going to give this a shot, too.
All right, Beer Hog. Sunglasses are off.
You might need to just walk them through it.
My house name is the Beer Hog that Don Flamenco built. My house words are, it's all about the Hawaiian shirts. My
house
sigil is Little Mac wearing a Hawaiian shirt on a field of turquoise. My house sword is my rolling cooler.
It's a rolling cooler.
Remote control.
My house region is the Deep South.
As south as south goes.
The house religion with the shirt standing on one foot, sticking our heads in the water. My horse's name is, of course. What else we got?
You don't have a
It's just a horse, of course.
Yeah. Well, of course. That's my horse's name. It's of course.
Of course. It's my horse.
My final thought. Everybody wear Hawaiian shirts as much as possible. Love y'all. Thank you guys for letting me do this. We love y'all. Beer Hog.
All right, so become a patron and get access to our epilogue episodes and show notes. Learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary for all of the ways you can help keep our beer bank full and the Beer Hog happy. Check out thepodcast.com/support us. Follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. Send us a digital raven to knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. And until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
As always, thanks.
Cheers.
You say as always.
Oh, as always.
As always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.